So have you seen the Erica Kirk, JD Vance controversy?
No. What's the Erica Kirk, JD Vance controversy?
I hate to say it, but SP will show me stuff on TikTok sometimes, and I will find some good stuff for the show on that TikTok, because people like it. I don't want to jump in. It's like this game of double dutch. Like, when do you jump in with TikTok? When the Chinese owned it, I didn't want it to be Chinese spyware on my phone, and now Israel owns it, so I don't want Netanyahu firebombing my house.
Right.
So I got to wait until some duplicitous goy buys it, and then I'll be morally okay with it. But on TikTok, people are raging over this Erica Kirk, JD Vance hug. So there was a turning point thing at Ole Miss over the weekend.
Yeah, I kind of know what the people were saying. JD Vance is going to hook up with Erica Kirk.
Not going to.
Or has
There's
now?
some people.
Last I heard it was gonna.
There's some people that are saying that these two are into each other because now a few things happened here. Number one, there's Erica Kirk was giving a speech about her husband. And we have that clip right now. We have the clip of Erica Kirk. She was talking about how no man will ever be able to replace Charlie Kirk. But now I don't want to play the video of this speech because it's going to give away the visual that we're going to do in a little bit. So there we go. Back to me, Jules. This is Erica Kirk. And we're going to put the pieces together here. This is all from this Mississippi event. So I'm not just grabbing different events from around the country. Erica Kirk and JD Vance. And I know this might be sacrilege. I know that this might not be a thing that people agree with because a lot of people think that she's suspect. I think Erica Kirk is pretty.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
I think she's pretty, though, in like a
she's
devil.
Suspect, but
yeah, she's like a devil will steal your soul kind of pretty.
No offense. Anyone that is as suspect as her couldn't pull it off if they were ugly.
Right. She'll be domineering and make you like it. That's the way she looks. So this is Erica Kirk talking about JD Vance. Then we'll show you how the two of them interact. Then I want to show you how JD Vance talks about his wife in public. And you tell me if these two are trying to make more babies for the white race.
People were saying in my show yesterday that he's going to get a divorce, or they've been divorced. They've separated twice or something. And I was like, yeah, but he was recently defending her. Or whatever. I thought they were just talking shit. They might have been. I might owe people an apology today.
Now, look. The internet overlooks into shit all the time. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. Yeah. I mean, they were so mad at me for being good at basketball in jail that they were like calling the jail to find out if that was true. like the jail keeps stats. And they were like, yeah, his points per game was up and a lot of production in the paint and all that stuff. Like that. Camel jockey Moody was like, I'm going to find someone who can talk about Aaron while he was in jail. It's like, brother, no offense, but that makes you gay. You're now gay for me. It's gay. Chill out. He's like, I'm going to. It's like the only people who go to jails to try to find men to talk to are women looking to fuck prisoners. So put on a wig and some lipstick, open your dirty camel fucked asshole, and let's see what happens. So Erica Kirk is making this speech, and I'm going to say that this is over complimentary of JD Vance.
No one will ever replace my husband. No.
Don't say
but I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
Now, this isn't like a real world confessional room. She's doing this in front of a whole Turning Point audience at Ole Miss. Now, when you say no one will ever replace my husband, the worst word you can follow that with in the English language
is but.
But. Like just saying the N-word afterward would be less suspect. I mean, it'd be weird.
Actually, it'd be fucking based. No one will ever replace my husband. No.
And Vice President JD Vance, I do. And that's why I'm so blessed.
She fucked up, though, because she's like, their cocks look exactly the same. Shit.
Oh. With the lights off, they both look the same.
You know, if my husband were like JD Vance, I wouldn't have to help have him killed. Wait, what?
To be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against, and he can articulate that in a way that transcends.
Okay, so that's how she spoke about J.D. Vance. Now you want to see the hug? Now
it's the fact that I know that we've got more wood to pile on this fire where I'm like, this is not good.
So if
this is our starting point. We're already at a boil.
People are torn on this. I've seen the debate, and the debate is no woman hugs a man like that unless they're trying to fuck. And then the other half says, hey, some people are more affectionate than others. You guys are looking too much into this. You're bored. You're obsessed with other people's lives. And they might have a point. But I know, like, I've been hugged by many a women in the past. The way Erica Kirk hugged J.D. Vance at this event is the way that my lady hugs me when she's trying to send out a message. That,
okay.
It's, it might be getting after it time. So you tell me if people are reading too much into this, because have you seen this yet?
I have not seen this, but I will say this before we see it. I don't know where it's going to go, but I will say, if nothing else, and I don't mean this as any sort of she hasn't, Charlie's been gone for a little bit. She hasn't, had her needs met. It could be just biological that she's just, how shall we say, in need of a good run.
We're coming up on 2 months.
Okay, so yeah, maybe she's just in need of a good running.
I think 2 months.
She's a racehorse. She needs to get out and put some laps in.
I got to tell you, I think 2 months is not enough time.
I'm not saying psychologically. I'm just saying biologically. Maybe her body, and she's unknowingly kind of leaning in.
Let's see if J.D. Vance is that guy. Here we go. This is Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance. The hug heard around the world. People are debating this hug and whether or not it was appropriate for a widow and a married man with children to engage in this kind of affection.
Oh, the head cradle.
The head cradle is iffy. JD leaned into the hug. And then as he broke, now the start of the hug was good on his part. He did the how you doing, homie back slap.
Right.
That's a friend hug when you slap the back, But then as he came back, the hands went to the hips for a second. I'm going to tell you this.
The butt cheek grab and the real part was really out of touch.
The hip thrust was not okay. I think we can all agree on that. But if I touch a woman's hips, that's I'm, biting my tongue.
I'm aiming for a destination, my friends.
Yeah. And a woman puts her hand on the back of my neck, head area. That's I think I saw somebody on TikTok say it yesterday. A guy gets that grab and he goes, I got a shot.
That's grab her hips time because her legs will wrap around you if you do.
Yeah, All
right, well, he didn't really go down. His arms were at the small of her back, whatever, and they kind of came to the sides. I can see why people are debating it, but the intro combined with that, now I'm sus. And then you said there's something else about the way he talks about his wife.
We'll get to that part.
I understand why people were telling me.
The other part about this, she's wearing leather pants, dude, to a Turning Point USA event. Leather pants? To me, leather.
Maybe she likes flaunting it. They're black though, because she's still in mourning.
Oh, you know what? She might be wearing form-fitting leather pants to an event, but you're right. They are black and they do signify mourning. But Frankie Five Angels in Godfather Part 2 just wore a black armband for Clemenza. I don't know if we need to go Frankie Five Angels. Frankie Pantangeli didn't show up at the first communion celebration wearing leather pants. That would have been troubling. So people have been making AI remakes of this hug.
Uh-oh. This can't be good.
AI is getting a little too good, I gotta say.
Wow, they're really leaning in on this.
And then this is probably the dirtiest one. This is probably the worst edit I've ever seen. This is the two of them on top of Charlie Kirk's casket.
Oh,
that's no good.
That is not good.
By the way, the first comment on it is, help, is this one AI? What the fuck? No, they literally went on Fox News.
They brought them. Charlie's not buried at all, though. They just drag him around from event to event.
They
put some Febreze on him each time. He's pumpkin spice right now. It's very seasonal.
So JD Vance then gave a speech about his wife at this Turning Point USA event, and maybe the rumors could have stopped there about whether or not JD Vance and Erica Kirk have been hooking up. Mm-hmm. But then he started talking about his wife, who was in the crowd, in the audience. Now, JD is a Christian. His wife is agnostic. She was raised in a Hindu home. And JD, after giving Erica Kirk the hug heard round the world, then went and said this about his wife.
And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. Everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But thank you.
Again, remember how we said no one can replace my husband, and the worst word you can say after that is but?
Yeah, don't tell me he's got a butt coming.
I haven't heard this part of the speech yet. I've only heard a shorter clip of it. I really hope the word butt isn't the next thing out of JD's mouth.
My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion.
God.
Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Ole Miss wishes him the best. But I think...
Oh, no! No, guys, stop saying but after you say nice things about your spouse. This is coming from a twice divorced guy who probably said but a lot.
So what you're saying is learn from
me. For the 900th time, take my advice. I know, because there's an episode of Landman where the daughter says to the dad, "Daddy, why are you right about stuff all the whole time?" And he's like, "Because I spent my whole life being wrong." It's like, yep.
Everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in...
Kill the Protestant. I mean, easy enough, right? I mean, Catholicism is the Church of St. Peter. There's absolutely no debate here.
Atheists and Christian marriages, you just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that. Because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it.
She just did.
She doesn't look very happy with this.
She just did a lean to one side, like, you're gonna fucking do this in front of a basketball arena full of people, you dick.
Mm-hmm.
She just kind of gave him the black lady lean a little bit there.
Because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Yep.
But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family, and you trust in God to have a plan, and you try to follow it as best as you can. And
that was awkward.
Yeah, on its own, that's completely harmless. Paired with that hug, though.
Do you remember Kevin Nealon's Mr. Subliminal character on Saturday Night Live? Where he would say something, but then subliminally say something else?
No, I don't.
I feel like J.D. Vance was doing that in that speech. Like, he was like, I really respect my wife's views on religion, pagan bitch, and I think that eventually we can all come to a solution together. She can burn in hell. Like, I feel like there were subtle undertones to that were, if I may quote Robert Downey Jr., that were mildly sinister. Like, do I hope the bitch finds God and sees it my way? Yeah, of course. But am I fine if she doesn't? Yeah, totally. It's okay.
Do I have an I told her so just waiting in the closet for this moment? Yes, I do.
All right. So we've shown you the 3 pieces of evidence.
There's more than enough smoke there to question a fire because
there's a theory out there that JD Vance is getting a divorce from Usha, and that he's going to marry Erica Kirk. There's also, and that they will become a power couple, and JD will run for president, and all of that stuff. I don't see that being the case. I'm not buying into that. I need more evidence. I think right now this is very interesting gossip. You know, while the Republican Party has their big civil war over Israel, this is a nice little side piece conversation. Could be literal side piece conversation. I'll also say this. SP and I were watching some of her TikToks last night, and I want to say this right now. This is going to sound remarkably racist. But I feel like if you asked black people and others, they would say the same thing I'm saying. We were watching these videos of like, there's this bit that people are doing where a wife will have an electric drill in one hand and the husband will be up on a ladder, like hanging a picture or something. And she'll start the drill and poke him in the back or in the butt, like as if to make him think that she's putting the drill in his back, and he'll freak the fuck out. And in one of them, there were a couple white couples, and then there was a mixed race couple. And look, this is going to sound bad, but I looked at SP and I go, don't pull your mic away from your face like you're disassociating yourself before I even, wait till I say the thing, then you can distance yourself.
All right.
But we were watching the TikToks, and I was like, does it always look more natural and normal for the 2 white people to be together? Like, it looks more right to me. Like, I feel a weird sense of pride when the 2 whites are together. Like, and she's like, no. She goes, I think that's normal. She goes, because it does look different when it's something else. She goes, and I think black people would agree with you too. I'm like, okay, good. I feel a little better. Like, I don't know. And so there's something about, like, if JD Vance divorces Usha and gets with Erica Kirk, there's part of me that said that is so scandalous that nobody would ever vote for him to be president. But then another part of me says they do look like a very handsome, attractive white couple.
It'll sell to the base, especially a lot more.
Like, people think I'm a racist when I say shit like that. You don't understand how much guilt I feel saying that, but it does. They look wonderful together, and it's like, I feel when I see a mixed race couple, I go, there's like a level of force in there, you know, like there's a level of pushing through something. Whereas I see 2 black people or 2 white people together, and I go, wow, they look really good together. Not always, but a lot of times. This is where I need your help.
I felt like you dug yourself in deep enough. I could just stand at the top and look down. Here's the sad truth. People naturally feel more comfortable around people of their ethnicity.
Let me ask you something. Why is that sad? Why is that the sad truth?
Because people always say that you a bigot, and it's unfortunate that that's where they go with it. But that's the truth of it is it's genetic. It's natural. Like, you don't see wolves running around and 1 pug in the mix. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. All right, let's play a fun game. Which race is the pug in your mind? When you made that analogy, who were you thinking was the pug? I was thinking the pug was the white guy, like the short, burly nose.
Oh, you're a fucking you're a race traitor, dude.
No.
I can't believe this. The
wolves were Eskimos.
Oh, I believe we call them Inuits now.
Oh God, that's
Or
I've watched that.
Or ice N-words. So,
Well,
your choice.
I know which one I'm picking.
Your choice. Waylon gifting a membership to Walleye Joe. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Walleye Joe? Go ahead and keep gifting those memberships. We appreciate it. Walleye Joe gifting a second membership. This one, oh no, he's passing it along. I'm sorry. Dinosaur Fuel getting that membership from Walleye Joe. Dinosaur Fuel, why don't you gift one back? Sounds good to me. We also got a clip from Mr. Approachable for $1. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, guess what? We're at 230.
Nice.
Today's goal is at 230, and we're also 5 gifted memberships on Rumble away from 300. Thank you, guys.
Beautiful.
Very, very much. Let's go ahead and put that up there. There we go. 230 away from today's goal. Let's see the clip from Mr. Approachable. Let's see what I did now. Shit. I got to go in there and give up the butthole so my husband stays happy.
I don't remember how you came to
that. I was talking about Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, God, that was a while ago. That threw me for a loop. That's that part of the tape has been recorded over. I didn't remember that happened.
George F says a new power couple. I mean, dude, it wouldn't get much more power couple-y than
people
those
were
two.
saying that. People were saying that yesterday in my chat, and I was dismissing the whole thing because I didn't know about any of this stuff. But yeah, people were like, "Yeah, no, they're gonna hook up and make a power couple." Like, it's gonna be a hard thing to fight with Erica Kirk having kind of the young Turning Point USA crowd that she has right now. If they keep it above board and nothing scandalous happens beforehand that somehow comes out, yeah, I can't see how that's going to go bad if he separates from his wife and now.
Again, Chips and Diff saying the optics of that relationship would be very bad. I don't know if he could become president if he did that because he'd have to do it now, marry Erica Kirk within a year, and then you only got 2 years until the election. You got a year until the primaries. I don't think you can turn because they're both going to be looked at as the devil at first. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take more than a year to get people to adjust to that. So I don't think if he wants to be president, he'll stay with that Indian lady he's with.
At least for the first few years.
And Erica, yeah, if he wants, he'll stay with her. If he wants to be a 2-termer, he'll stay with her forever. If he wants to be a 1-termer, once he wins the election, he can move Erica's shit in. To the,
well, I think once he wins the second term election, you can move Erica's shit in. What are they going to do now? You can't stop me, bitches.
We'll see. Okay, my final thought on this. I don't think J.D. Vance is leaving his wife for Erica Kirk. However, I do think Erica Kirk wants to fuck J.D. Vance. You know, we've been waiting for Ben Shapiro's take on the Tucker Carlson Nick Fuentes discussion. This is honestly, this has caused a rift. People are calling it a civil war. I don't think it's quite that, but this is causing a legit rift in the in the Republican Party.
Because some people can't stand that it happened, and other people are like, who gives a shit?
Well, Nick Fuentes is all over the place now. He's been on all of the biggest shows. There's another show he's going on pretty soon. It's not Rogan. I can't remember which one it is, but he's going on another one that you never thought Nick Fuentes would be on. And what's interesting about this is that the Ben Shapiros of the world created Nick Fuentes. I mean, these guys kept saying things about Israel that just wasn't true. They kept saying shit about Gaza that wasn't true. They kept backing up every evil thing that Israel did. And then there were guys like Nick Fuentes who would tell you something different every night, and you'd go check it out, and you go, that actually checks out. This guy may say some out-of-pocket shit, but at least he's giving me a side of this thing that these other guys, Ben Shapiro and these other guys, came off as really inauthentic and manipulative, whereas Nick Fuentes seemed like a guy who was at least telling you what he thought.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to get along with Nick.
Tucker has Nick Fuentes on, and everybody blows up. I mean, Dave Smith had to go on Piers Morgan's show and absolutely crucify Seth Dillon. Mark Levin went to that Republican Jewish conference and was like, you're all anti-Semites and you can take. It was so funny. The Mark Levin thing was like, you can have your little radio shows and your podcasts and your TV shows and your subscription services. It's like, Mark, that's like the entire media.
That's everything.
That's everything, Mark. These guys are so mad because the old model of conservative entertainment was find a billionaire, have that billionaire bankroll your shit, don't piss him off, and keep pushing the message he wants you to push. Daily Wire made it that way. Crowder made it that way. Tim Pool made it that way. All these guys made it that way. And now they're stuck holding the bag for Israel. Whereas Tucker said, fuck the corporate world, I'm going off on my own. Nick Fuentes, they tried to cancel him off of everything, and he still hung in there, and now he's having, as he puts it...
It's like a cockroach in a nuclear apocalypse.
He's having, as he puts it, his generational run. So Ben Shapiro took a week to formulate his take because he said, I wanted to nail it. I wanted to really get it. Now, I don't understand why Ben Shapiro needed a week to basically go, if you like Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and you think it's okay to have him on a show, you hate Jews and you're anti-Semitic. I don't know why he needed a week to say that. We all kind of knew that's what he was going to go with.
That's kind of his, if you disagree with me, you hate Jews and you're anti-Semitic.
Yeah. So this guy who's a big Ben Shapiro fan posted this on Twitter. Ben Shapiro is absolutely right on Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. Check this out. Oh, and if you write off Ben Shapiro just because he's Jewish, then yes, you are anti-Semitic. So that whole manipulative language thing is a great example of corporatist Republicans. It's just you're so insecure in your argument that any criticism you might get, you're going to try to frame it before you hear it and put it in a classification that makes you look better. Instead of, listening to these people. It's not listening to these people and not talking to these people that caused them to become so popular in the first place. So let's see what old Benny thinks about. Now I'm giving you guys I had a 40-minute clip that we could have jumped around on. You guys voted for the 90 seconds because you don't like Ben Shapiro. Now, tell me this, Johnny, you have not seen this clip yet. Will Ben Shapiro accuse either of these two of anti-Jewry or anti-Semitism?
Definitely Nick Fuentes, and he might just because he was on the show by association, Tucker Carlson.
All right, here we go. Ben Shapiro, he can either make the arguments and argue the points, or he can attack based on identity, which I've been hearing from Republicans as identity politics, and identity politics is bad.
Let's make one thing clear. This is not about free speech or cancellation. It was never about free speech or cancellation. Free speech has a definition.
Really? Because all Nick Fuentes is doing is exercising his free speech after he was canceled.
The right to speak free of governmental coercion. I believe in it, of course. I've always defended it. Criticism of bad speech is, in fact, just a form of free speech. Cancellation also has a definition. The banning of particular people, including people like Nick Fuentes, from platforms like X or Facebook. I believe that Nick Fuentes is odious and despicable, but I've never called for his cancellation. And in fact, I've called for his restoration to those services, despite the fact that I think he's odious and despicable.
I think, look, as much as we despise Ben Shapiro, he does deserve credit for that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a fun. I'm worried there's a but coming.
There's always a but coming. But with this in particular, Ben does this a lot. He does this lawyer weasel shit where you can tell that a conservative is about to go back on their free speech and cancellation views or modify them a little bit when they start telling you what it means.
Right. Look how good I've done.
I'm about to go against shit I've been saying a lot because there's guys I don't like saying shit I don't like. But trust me, I'm not going against free speech or cancel culture because I'm now going to define what these things are.
It is not cancellation to draw moral lines between viewpoints. In fact, we used to call that one of the key aspects of conservatism. It is not cancellation to refuse to signal boost Hitler's supporters like Nick Fuentes.
Nobody's saying that about you, though. And did he say Hitler supporter?
Yeah.
So we're doing the cheap shot bullshit
We're
thing.
doing the cheap shot thing. Just because he hates Jews, he's a Hitler supporter.
Now,
I don't know that I've ever heard him support Hitler.
Well, here's the thing. Nick has said wild shit, and sometimes it's hard to differentiate between him being shocking and him telling you what he actually thinks. Now, he did say on Tucker's show that he admires Joseph Stalin, and that was not bullshit, which is a little wild. But the thing about Ben here is he's doing this thing that a lot of the conservatives on his side are doing. They're creating a victimhood where it doesn't exist. So he's going, now it's not cancellation if I refuse to have Nick Fuentes on my platform. Nobody's saying it is. Like, you're creating a victimhood for yourself and then raging against it. You're creating a straw man. As George Will once said, you're a pyromaniac in a field of straw men. So they don't like that Nick Fuentes is getting on all these big shows. He's gaining in popularity. People are seeing him as a breath of fresh air versus these gatekeeping assholes like Ben Shapiro and the other people who also are dishonest with you about who their billionaire backers are, which is also kind of bullshit. So they don't like that Nick is getting all this momentum, that they're, and this is the hypocrisy, because Republicans have always been about the marketplace of ideas. But now they get into a marketplace of ideas with people who are winning and becoming more popular than them. Now they're starting to make shit up and cry. Like in Ben Shapiro's case, it's not cancel culture that we won't platform the guy. Nobody's saying it is. So what are you bitching about?
It is not cancellation to criticize Tucker Carlson for rhetorically fluffing Nick Fuentes and other anti-American crackpots.
Nobody's saying you are.
And Nick Fuentes isn't anti-American. He's anti-Israel, sir. Those are two totally different things. I realize you don't know that because you're a complete puppet, but...
He's not... Hold on. Ben Shapiro is not a puppet.
For Israel, he totally is.
No, Ben Shapiro is an Israeli.
Well, yes, but he views America as Israel Part 2 or whatever.
Yes.
Israel and America are the same thing.
That's what I mean. If he was a puppet, he would be an America guy who simps for Israel. I want to give Ben Shapiro some credit here. I think Ben Shapiro is Israeli and Jewish first, and that he's kind of a puppet for America in that way.
Okay.
I don't think that Ben is I think Ben feels more of a kinship with Israel than he does the United States of America. If you gave Ben Shapiro truth serum and said one country can survive, Israel or America, who you picking? I think he'd pick Israel.
Right, but I'm just saying when he calls Nick Fuentes anti-American, I immediately, in my brain, it's like, oh, you think he's anti-American because he's against Israel. That's not anti-American. He's actually very pro-American. He's just, again, anti-Israel and the Jews in general.
That's the cope. The cope that Ben Shapiro and others are doing is that they've lost the debate on Israel, and they've probably lost the entire Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and maybe millennial generation on the topic of Israel forever. And instead of admitting that they went into the marketplace of ideas and they backed the wrong horse and they lost, now they're trying to say they're victims, they're being bullied. This Nick Fuentes is a big bad racist guy. You guys had all the platforms, you guys had all the viewership, you had all the money behind you. Nick Fuentes can't have a fucking bank account. It's not like Nick Fuentes was working from a position of advantage over you guys and he just bullied you out. You guys had every advantage. You were the hare, he was the tortoise, and he's winning the race. You don't get to claim aggrieved status here.
It's not cancellation if you urge others to stop promoting those who rhetorically fluff Nazi apologists. Those are all elements of free speech. And anyone who says differently is lying to you.
Nobody's saying differently. None of us are saying you can't criticize him. None of us are saying you have to have him on your show. You're just mad that he's attracting more people and convincing more people than you are. Maybe if you hadn't supported a fucking genocide for the last 2 years, maybe you might be in better standing. Again, all of this getting out your binoculars and looking out at everyone else instead of looking in at why you lost the debate, maybe that might be more productive. But Ben can't do that because he's never wrong. And the Daily Wire is never wrong. These assholes are all undefeated. So, I mean, trying to, and throwing in these little passive-aggressive digs that Nick is this and Nick is that. I mean, again, we're kind of just showing our bitterness here.
And lying for the most cynical reasons to misdirect from their own defense of those Nazi apologists and their promoters.
What?
The issue here isn't that Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show last week. He has every right to do that, of course. The issue here is that Tucker Carlson decided to normalize and fluff Nick Fuentes.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't attack him for a solid 40 minutes.
So remember, this isn't about cancel culture, and it's not about abridging free speech. But if you don't do your Nick Fuentes interview the way I want you to do your Nick Fuentes interview, then I get to call you a Nazi. I get to call you a fluffer. I get to now recharacterize Tucker Carlson. Why? Because I didn't get my way. And first of all, he didn't fluff Nick Fuentes. He told him he was troubled by the Stalin thing. He told him that hating Jews is wrong and unchristian. I mean, again, it's like you guys have.
He apologized for calling him a Fed. Apparently, that was a bridge too far.
Right. But like,
it's not like any of Nick's opinions were new that he shared. So
it's this consistent coping mechanism of you have your speech planned out before you even watch the interview, and then you do it on your show. It's more of this psychological manipulation of your audience. Don't go watch the interview. Trust me, I'll tell you what's in it.
And that the Heritage Foundation then decided to robustly defend that performance. Those who criticize both Tucker and Heritage aren't canceling. They are quite properly drawing a moral line.
Nobody's accusing you of canceling. In fact, everybody's kind of moving on from you.
And we're all accusing you of coping.
Yeah. I think what's happening here is you guys are getting passed over and you're trying to make it sound like it's some kind of censorship deal.
Passover. It's nice. I
didn't even catch myself doing that one. Passover.
Brilliant. So yeah, I know. I like that. A lot of us are just going, yeah, of course, that's how you feel. You are the Israeli apologist, so this is very obvious. The worst part for them is their stance is so predictable that it's not surprising and boring. And like you said, we've moved on.
Yeah. Bigot on socialist media says Tucker fluffed Nick. Tucker said Nick was a weird faggot living in his parents' house. Right? I mean, that is what Tucker said about him. Tucker did go, he's a weird gay kid in his mom's basement. And they had to take a part of the interview and go, I thought you were a Fed. I thought you were a Fed. And Tucker literally said, quote, sorry I called you gay, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry I called you gay, by the way. I don't think, you could say whatever you want about that. It wasn't a fluff piece for Nick because it wasn't like Tucker Carlson's like, oh, I believe your opinions and I really have been swayed to your way of thinking. No. He apologized for being a bit of a dick, and then he just let the guy talk. It was an interview.
Right. That's just it. It's like he had a guy on. He wanted to know what that guy thinks. That guy told him what he thinks, and then they said their goodbyes.
It's literally, in my opinion, no different than when Joe Rogan, or anyone else for that matter, has someone on, and that person shares what they think, and then that person, I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I don't assume the host automatically endorses the viewpoint of the person on the show just because they don't fervently debate it.
I'm just waiting to see the explosion. Remember all these people that defended Joe, like the Ben Shapiros of the world and everyone else who defended Joe during COVID and defended Joe when he was having Trump on and everything else. I'm just waiting for the day where Rogan picks up the phone and goes, time to have Fuentes on.
Time to have a lot of people are talking about this Nick Fuentes.
And then watching all of these old conservatives, the old guard of conservatism, totally turn on Joe Rogan. Bang it out. Thank you guys very much. Having some fun today. You know who wasn't having a good time is this Seth Dillon. Do you know who Seth Dillon is?
Seth Dillon having a bad time. Yeah, I know who he is.
He's the guy who started the Babylon Bee. Now, I have a theory about the Babylon Bee. Seth Dillon is he's a Jewish guy. That's not a theory. He is a big-time Zionist. It is my belief that the Babylon Bee is bought and paid for by some really big pro-Israel group. And that's why Seth Dillon is on the side of genocide like he is.
Right.
He went on Piers Morgan's show. And I highly recommend people watch Piers Morgan's show for one specific reason. A lot of people on the internet are into gay retarded drama of dumb shit that doesn't matter. This is a good way for you to get into the news and get away from the brain rotting drama shit because Piers Morgan covers important news stories but he's all about drama.
So he'll get those guys.
Right. You're getting news drama with Piers Morgan instead of like, hey, this autistic retarded person I'm watching on a stream makes me feel better about what a piece of shit I am. So I'm going to pretend I'm superior. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So Dave Smith went on to talk to Seth Dillon about, there's this whole debate that popped up about Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson doing a show together.
That apparently made a few people's minds pop, which is weird.
Well, fucking Josh Hammer, remember the guy who was on that text chain with Charlie Kirk when Charlie was like, I'm going to fucking bring Candace Owens here. I'm done with the Jews. I'm abandoning my pro-Israel position. Josh Hammer was the guy who went, oh, God, not Candace. Don't do that. My God, what are we going to do? I couldn't find my Jewish voice at first there. But Josh Hammer was so angry about the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes thing that he called for Tucker Carlson to be put to death.
What?
Josh Hammer over the weekend said that he should be neutralized.
You guys realize like one of the big takeaways from that is like, hey, sorry I called you a Fed. Sorry I called you a Fed. Like the mutual apology of accusing each other of being a Fed. And then, like, for Tucker Carlson, like, my father worked for the CIA. Like, right.
That was funny.
You're a Fed.
There was also a part in that interview where Tucker Carlson said, you called Joe Kent. You said that Joe Kent worked for the CIA. Now, he did work for the CIA, but, like, it's like, well, wait a minute. Which one? Come on, Tucker.
Is he wrong, or did he call it right? I'm confused.
Yeah, we got to be consistent here, Tuck. But it was funny for them to go, yeah, that part where they goes, I called you a Fed. I called you a Fed. They kind of did the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
A little bit. So before we get into this, I just thank you, Red Fox Mad, for the $4.99 that puts us $130 away. Says fluoride is a byproduct of several industries, most notably the phosphate fertilizer industry and the aluminum production industry. Well, then fuck those guys, man. So at any rate, Seth Dillon goes on to debate Dave Smith on Nick Fuentes. You know, Johnny, when it comes to the last, 10 years, when it comes to people talking to other people and speech and everything else, what's been, the big right-wing conservative talking point back when they were getting canceled from stuff? What was their position on free speech?
Anything's fair to say. It's all good.
Should allow anybody on, right?
Anybody on any viewpoint. You want people who express opinions opposite than you to be vocal, so you know who they are.
Wasn't Seth Dillon and the Babylon Bees whole thing that Twitter shut him down and that Elon brought him back, and they, the Babylon Bees Twitter account had been blocked, and that's horrible, and there shouldn't be wrong speech, and we should have free speech on social media? Wasn't that Seth Dillon's whole thing?
I thought so.
Well, that's interesting because we have a clip here of him talking to Dave Smith about Nick Fuentes going on Tucker Carlson's show. I want you to remember this phrase. Now, remember, Seth Dillon, Babylon Bee, free speech, it's important, it's this and that. Johnny, do you think a guy who's pro-free speech should say the sentence, and I quote, I think gatekeeping is a good thing?
No, that's literally the opposite of free speech.
Okay, just remember that because this is a 3-minute clip. I'm going to try not to pause too much. I just want you to remember that phrase.
First of all, I think this is ridiculous and kind of sloppy thinking at a certain point. Just to be clear again, there's no evidence that Tucker was trying to mainstream Nick Fuentes. What happened here is Nick Fuentes became mainstream. That's just the reality. And anybody can look at this. This is just looking at numbers. It's not an opinion. He's about as big as anybody in this world right now, up there with them. And in terms of, no, you cannot deduce. Look, I had a socialist, Ben Burgess, on my podcast years ago, because he wrote this book, and it was called something like, Canceling Comedians While the World Burns. And the book was about how there's all these left-wingers who were caught up in cancel culture at the time, canceling Louis C.K. and all these guys, when, look, we still don't have universal health care or universal, all this stuff. And I just interviewed him about the book because I thought it was a really interesting topic. And I didn't argue with him, but you can't deduce from that I believe in socialism.
There's this weird thing that the pro-Israel right is doing, and it exposes them very much. They're not conservative. They're not libertarian. They're just pro-Israel, and the Republicans happen to be closer to that position in the past than the Democrats did. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys start turning pro-Democrat if the Democrats become the party of supporting Israel, which I don't think they're going to be. But it's this whole Israel genocide thing has exposed a lot of these people, Seth Dillon included, to where they went from the people who said free speech is great, talk to whoever you want, we need to have these conversations in the marketplace of ideas, to Nick Fuentes is evil, he's the worst guy in the world, and if you have him on your show, you should be neutralized. Now,
it's kind of strange.
It's kind of like you're doing a 180 because the guy, and by the way, Nick Fuentes, you know, what's the more likely thing to have happened? Did all of a sudden a bunch of people in America, because Nick Fuentes has never been this popular, as he keeps calling it tongue-in-cheek, he's on a generational run.
Right.
Did Nick Fuentes all of a sudden just overnight, did he brainwash every American to going, you know what, I hate Jews and I want to be a white nationalist? Or did Nick Fuentes, who hasn't been that popular and people have tried to cancel him and get him off of things, or has Nick Fuentes just been saying a bunch of shit, and then Israel and people like Seth Dillon and Josh Hammer keep doing shit that makes him right?
I mean, it's mostly the second one. And then the other part is like and Nick is always more than happy to point these things out. He'll go back over history and show where, like, again, the JFK thing, the attack on one of our boats, 9/11,
USS Liberty.
all these places where we can be like, you know, are they really a friend? Like the nation of Israel, is it really a good thing? Is it whatever? And then people take from that, oh, he's anti-Jew, and then they just brand him with it. He's kind of just sitting there collecting on it because of everything Israel's been doing.
Two things can be true at the same time. Nick Fuentes can be anti-Semitic, and there's more than enough clips you have of Nick Fuentes to say he's anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
That can absolutely be true. It can also be true that he has kind of hit the nail right on the head when it comes to these Zionists, when it comes to Israel's war in Gaza. He's at least giving you the straight dish, and he's nailing it on that, while they find out people like Seth Dillon and Josh Hammer have been fucking lying to them this whole time. When people find out you're lying to them, they get really pissed. And when they get really pissed at you for lying to them, they might turn to people you don't like very much because they think you're a piece of shit. If there's this other guy over here doing a show saying, I think those guys are a piece of shit, you're going to grab a lot of the audience that used to love them because they're saying the thing they want to hear.
And in fact, what Tucker did on the show was make the point against Jew hatred and make the point against racial collectivism at all.
He did say it was anti-Christian.
That is just unchristian, and that Christians must judge people as individuals, and that it's not a cuck move to say it's not the Jews, that you have to talk out specific. And the truth is, Nick didn't really give him pushback.
But it doesn't matter, because if a guy like me, who doesn't hate the Jews, goes and gives these criticisms that turn out to be accurate and true, they're going to call you an anti-Semite anyway. So the fact that
no matter what you do,
the fact that Nick Fuentes has become indistinguishable to these people from Tucker Carlson shows that you guys, Seth Dillon, you guys, Josh Hammer, you guys, Mark Levin, you have pushed these people over to Nick Fuentes, over to Tucker Carlson by fucking with them. You have told these people that guy's an anti-Semite, that guy's awful, that guy's this and that. And then they go, well, I listened to what that guy had to say, and he's telling me a lot of shit that you won't tell me, that you're keeping from me. I trust this guy more than I trust you, and this guy gives me information you don't trust me with because you want to control a certain narrative. I'm going to go to him. I don't think Nick Fuentes could have become as popular as he's become without help. And it's the help he's been getting is from the people that he criticizes. I mean, again, either everyone in America became an anti-Semite overnight, or Nick Fuentes was hitting the nail on the head and you guys were proving him right and kind of made him in a way.
Back on that. Now, you could say that is Nick trying to moderate his views or something like that, but I don't exactly know why that's a bad thing. I think I'd probably rather people say, yeah, it's not all the Jews. There are different specific people. But
imagine that being your criticism of Nick Fuentes.
What, that you could try and narrow it down to just Israel?
Seth Dillon made the point. He goes, I think he's going on these shows and he's just moderating his views to appeal to a bigger audience. It's like, you think this guy is like the anti-Semitic devil and that he shouldn't be platformed and he's terrible. But your complaint is that while he's being platformed, he's moderating his views and not being as anti-Semitic. Well, wouldn't that be a good thing?
He's toning himself down publicly to be more palatable. Like, you do realize if he gets what quote unquote he wants, he'll just do a big show. I mean, it's not like we have to suddenly then start buying into all his bullshit. Like, I don't understand what's the problem here. It sounds like you're getting what you want. He's softening.
We can't let Nick Fuentes get very popular and go on all these shows. He'll start moderating his views and changing a little and being much more reasonable. And then we won't have our anti-Semitic devil on the right that we can point at and say he's the bad guy.
The bigger point here, I think look, when you say, oh, there's these people with conspiracy theories, they're not connecting dots. Again, yes, that's true. It's also prevalent everywhere. Every single day, Mark Levin gets on Twitter and tweets Tucker Carlson. That's what he calls him every single day. What is that other than a ridiculous conspiracy? There's never been.
It's also that Mark Levin's a hack and he comes up with gay names for everybody, like PMSNBC. That's a good one, right?
A shred of evidence. Laura Loomer, the most disingenuous person on the internet, once produced a document that said that a group in Qatar was trying to facilitate an interview with Tucker Carlson and a Qatari leader. There's no evidence that Tucker Carlson, the man in his 50s with tons of money, started going on the payroll of Qatar. This stuff is everywhere. And, I would just say that when you say, hey, there are certain views, like I find Alex Jones' view on Sandy Hook disgusting. I find Nick Fuentes' views on race disgusting or something like that. Okay, look, if I'm being completely honest, I find your views on Gaza disgusting. But whatever, man, let's still sit down and talk about it, because what else are we going to do? I mean, how many options do we really have here? We can fight, we can go to war, or we can try to argue this like civilized men and see who's more persuaded by our case. And for all you guys, say whatever you will about Nick Fuentes. I've known him over the years. I don't know him super well, but I do know him. And full disclosure, I got to admit, I kind of like him. I disagree with him on a lot of things, and he disagrees with me on a lot of things. One thing I cannot say about him, he is willing to debate. So when you sit here, Seth, and you're like, Tucker should have handled him like this, Tucker should have screamed bigot at him the whole time, why don't you give that a shot? I bet he'd do it. Give it a shot. See how that goes. See who can persuade more people. Well, I actually don't think that's a very effective way of dealing with anyone's ideas.
That's kind of the Jon Stewart message again.
Right.
Like, have the debate with them, put up or shut up. This whole, just sit there and scream bigot at them isn't really an effective way of dealing with your ideals.
These guys are going to throw themselves out of the conversation. The Seth Dillons of the world. And I believe that Seth Dillon is just a pawn of much wealthier and more powerful people. But he's going to throw himself right out of credibility, because he's going to be this guy who said free speech, free speech, free speech. And now all of a sudden, we shouldn't have Nick Fuentes on. And let me tell you what that does. What that does is take people who have never heard of Nick Fuentes before and makes them go, why can't I hear what this guy has to say? I got to go check out this Nick Fuentes. Why is everybody so fucking mad at him? And then
honestly, being taboo keeps him going.
Right. And then this is why, you can take the money. You can take the money to throw a certain view out there, but you'd better save that money, invest it well, and get ready for retirement. Because once people realize and find out you're bought and paid for, you're going to fall off a cliff. So I want to see who owns the Babylon Bee. Who owns the Babylon Bee? Owned by Seth Dillon, who is its company's CEO. I guess who gives him money?
Now we're talking.
Because I have a hard time believing that these, why anchor yourself to this shitty... Oh, here we go. The Babylon Bee receives money from various sources, including direct financial contributions from its subscribers, revenue from its subscription-based services, merchandise sales, advertising, sponsorships, affiliate marketing, crowdfunding, and content licensing. Additionally, according to Open Secrets, individual employees, owners, and their family members have made political campaign contributions, but the organization itself does not donate. Okay, so here we go. The numbers are pages from PACs and individuals giving $200 or more. All right. So I
don't understand conservative Christian. That's the thing that always, like, if it's a conservative Christian thing, why do they play really hard for that team?
Well, because there's a lot of Christians out there that believe that Jesus can't come back until the Jews control that part of the world.
So, like, God's flight's delayed until he has a landing strip.
Exactly. Shuli Madoff with $5 says Dave Smith, not a comedian, but he is on the right side of history. I will say I enjoy Dave Smith more as a commentator than I do as a comedian. I never found his stand-up to really stand out. But I think I think he presents the news in an entertaining way, and I think there's value in that. One thing I love, Johnny, is I love a good rags to riches story.
Yeah, I have heard.
I love watching people overcome their environment, overcome the place they were maybe born, or overcome the situation they were, it just happened by luck to be born into, and overcoming those odds and becoming successful, becoming wealthy.
Okay.
It's so nice when people come forward with those stories, because a lot of times people get poverty shamed and they don't want to come out with those stories. You know, they want to bury that shit deep inside. They want to go, I don't want to tell anybody that I grew up poor. I don't want to tell anybody that I struggled. I want to just make people think that the successful person they see in front of them is who I've always been.
Yeah, right. Okay.
A lot of guts to tell a rags to riches story. The rags to riches story we have for you today. I don't know if you heard of this guy, because again, he's no Rockefeller. He's no Rothschild. A young Arab boy who probably grew up in a sand hut, playing with, unexploded IEDs for toys.
Really?
I don't know if you ever heard him. A young crusader named Hassan Piker. You ever heard of this kid?
I could have swore, didn't he have wealthy parents?
From the gutters of Turkey, like Aladdin playing with Abu outside the palace. This Hassan Piker comes from nothing and becomes something. Now, I know you just said, didn't he have wealthy parents? That's what I've always led to believe. But, I was also led to believe that COVID was this lethal, deadly thing, and that, Israel was attacked out of nowhere on October 7th, and that 9/11 was just some crazy attack by a bunch of Muslims who hated us for our freedom. I've been told a lot of things.
Okay, so then what's his rags to riches story? Then I'm sure the evidence and things of that will air and iron themselves.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Aaron, we talk a lot about Hassan Piker on this show. And you even said you were getting sick of the dog shot caller thing. And it's true, I was. But this isn't about the dog shot caller. This is about, and everybody, this is why I'm doing this today. Everybody loves an origin story. And even if you don't like the guy, like remember the movie Joker. Nobody likes Joker. He's a mean, terrible, awful guy. If you're a middle-aged white man who's never done anything with their life and is highly insecure, you love Joker. Other than that, nobody likes the Joker. He's a villain. He's a bad guy, terrible person. But they loved seeing the origin story, right? The Killing Joke, another origin story type of thing. People love it, even if it's a bad guy. So this Hassan Piker tells us his origin story, and much like the Joker, if he's going to have a past, he'd prefer it to be multiple choice. Because you and I know Hassan Piker as the trust fund son of a father who sat on numerous boards of multinational corporations.
Yeah.
You and I know Hassan Piker as a guy who came from a family that includes Cenk Uygur, who has said numerous times, my parents did pretty well. Hassan Piker has never said that he, ate Wonder Bread and Kraft single sandwiches growing up. I mean,
nope.
Nobody would buy it. Look at him, Looks like he drank the bacon grease. But this isn't about Cenk Uygur. This is about Hassan Piker, who we all thought with wealthy parents grew up, silver spoon in his mouth, spoiled. In fact, it's framed a lot of our opinions about Hassan historically. I'm here to tell you right now from the man's own mouth, that is simply not true. Are you ready for the rags to riches story that is Hassan Piker?
Yeah.
Now, full disclosure, this was on Friday. So this was on Halloween. So Either Hassan Piker really did grow up rags to riches, which is endearing, or Hassan Piker is really getting into whatever douchebag superhero character he's playing here for Halloween. Let's go ahead and listen, and you guys can decide if you've had Hassan Piker wrong this entire time.
Ways, if you're wealthy and you critique capitalism, you're a hypocrite. If you're poor and you critique capitalism, you're jealous. Americans are so fucking cuck sometimes. Exactly. I mean, I've seen both, for the record, because I was dead broke and was critiquing capitalism, and then people...
This whole time, Johnny, I didn't know that Hassan Piker was Hindu.
Dead broke.
I didn't know he was Hindu. Apparently, he believes in reincarnation because he must be talking about a past life version of himself that apparently was, riff-raff, street rat. I don't buy that. Just a little snack, guys.
Will be like, yeah, because you're a fucking loser. And now that I have money and I still do it, people are like, well, hypocrite much? I didn't change.
Right. I just want to say this. If this is true and Hassan Piker has been dead broke critiquing capitalism and he's been very wealthy critiquing capitalism, I don't think that should matter. He has never changed. Whether he was dead broke or whether he had lots of money, Hassan Piker has always been and will always, as far as we know, continue to be a stupid asshole.
Right. So, I mean, it doesn't matter what opinion he had.
Right.
Cool. Your opinion hasn't changed. It still sucks and you're wrong. All right, moving on.
You may have been dead broke and wrong, or you may have been filthy rich and wrong. But no matter what, the consistent thing about Hassan Piker, and I appreciate this about people when they're consistent, the consistent thing about Hassan Piker is that most importantly, he's been wrong. And that's the thing we all need to keep our eye on. We can sit here and debate whether or not Hassan Piker has been wealthy his whole life or whether or not Hassan Piker got lucky halfway through. That's fine. Let's debate that another day. The important point to take away from this is that Hassan Piker is right. He has been consistent no matter what. Consistently stupid and wrong. Yes.
And it's always so strange. Obviously, this is like personal for me for many different reasons because this is my life's fucking work. But what's so funny about it is like people want you to almost be like, oh, once I got a touch of the bag, like once I touch the bag, it's over. Like this socialism shit is done. You know what I mean?
That's what they used to say to me in jail. Once you touch the bag, it's over. Once you touch that bag, you can't ever go back to who you were before. But I think they meant something different. I think he means money.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like, no offense, you're a big fan of socialism, then stop taking all the money.
By the way, it's my life's work. Okay, Jane Goodall. Jeez, it's your life's work. We fucking sit in front of microphones and we go, so people send us super chats.
You eat cereal on your stream, right? Dude. Your life's fucking work. Are you kidding me?
What? Yeah. What's in the bowl? What's in the bowl?
What's in the bowl?
Wheaties or Cheerios or oatmeal? Because I'm taking a shit in them, Hassan. I need reading material, dictionary. Sorry, it's stupid. It's a dumb Eminem fucking line. But for him, now the funny thing about this, and we'll go through this after this clip is over. This tweet from Yeet on Twitter. I love Yeet. He clips out a lot of this shit so people don't have to watch it. Mm-hmm. Yeet tweeted this video clip about Hassan Piker saying he's a rags to riches story. He's been dead broke. Now, I think what Hassan means is that his own like personal bank account, his own income. Like when he first started streaming or got out of school,
he wasn't making a lot of money, but he had parents that made sure he had food and that his emergency bills like rent and stuff were paid.
This kind of
things that a lot of us never had.
This kind of talk upsets people who actually grew up without a safety net. This really pisses people off because, all right, it's one of those wiggle things, and trust fund babies do this all the time. They're disingenuous as all shit. You can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. And once you call them out, they have some kind of wiggle thing they can do. It's what stops them from ever accomplishing anything, so they can just constantly make excuses for their shitty existence. So like Hassan Piker goes, oh, I've been dead broke before. And we're like, what? Your dad was on the board of multiple corporations when you were a kid. they've got this oh so fucking gay picture of him riding a horse when he was a chubby little boy. We'll show that one a little bit later. And you can call him out on that, and he'll go, what? No, I meant when I first got out of college, I didn't have a dime in my bank account. Well, that's true, but there's a big difference between I don't have any money and I'm one phone call from dad. Hey, I'm going to be short on rent this month. Can you put a couple grand in my account? You can't say you were ever dead broke unless you had to feel the pinch of being dead broke. Hassan never had to worry about which bill he was going to pay. It was just what bullshit excuse he was going to give daddy so that he could get the allowance.
Although I'll say this, if his dad actually cut him off, props to his dad. If his dad's like, no, he's like, no, the family money, that's the family money. You're out of that now. You graduated college. Now it's time for you to make something of yourself. This whole thing didn't show up on itself. Yeah. So you do your thing.
That's got to be hard to do as a parent, though, because you do.
Oh, dear Lord, I couldn't.
Care of your kids, yeah.
I spoil the shit out of my daughter.
Yeah.
And then they try to rationalize why I'm still doing this. They try to be like, oh, it's because like this is how he's financially incentivized to continue advocating for this kind of shit. And it's like, no, dumbass.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I believe it, you know?
Hey, two things can be true at the same time. He could be full of shit, wrong, and stupid enough to buy his own fucking Kool-Aid.
Right.
These are both possible.
Well, he wouldn't do it for free. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I've never seen a guy have more like wealth shame himself more than Hassan's doing right now. There's nothing like you can admit to your entire audience. You can admit to everyone, hey, I grew up really wealthy and I feel I'm privileged for that. And so I critique capitalism maybe for people who didn't grow up the way I grew up, and I want to advocate for them. You could say that. You could say that it's for other people, but Hassan is so self-absorbed that he can't look past the end of his own nose to look for some kind of justification for what he does, why he does what he does. And also, nobody would give a shit if you just came out and said you were wealthy. And that
I don't think so.
I mean, nobody listens to Hassan Piker because they think they're watching a rags to riches story.
I mean, I don't listen to Hassan Piker at all, really. So I would agree with that. I think anyone who's seen Hassan, like, no, he has his opinions, but the dude's never seemed like he's ever really struggled.
I have to be very honest. I watch Hassan the way I watch The View because I just love it.
Strangely fascinated by its existence.
As long as I'm watching 2 minutes at a time and I don't have to watch a whole thing, I'm a happy guy. I love watching Hassan. I think he's interesting.
It's like watching the crabs eating the tank.
Fucking was born this way. You know what I mean? I always was this person. I always had this $3 million home. Like, it's just so dumb.
Right. It was 2.3 million. Inflation hadn't hit yet. But that's what these trust fund babies do, though, is that they go like, oh, they act like I've always had this $3 million home. And then when people call them out because their lies are so skin deep in bullshit, they go, well, yeah, see, it was $1.4 million. I told you it wasn't $3. It's like, okay.
But again, that's where it's like I'm sorry, but your socialist views don't fit with your lifestyle, buddy. That's the part where I have a problem. Like, you don't practice what you preach at all. You're taking every dollar you can get. You're enjoying your incredibly, wealthy home and all that stuff. And more power to you. You made the money. Good for you.
But let's go beyond that. Let's go even deeper than, well, not even deeper. What you're doing is deeper. Let's go even more superficial.
Shallow.
Who's the corporation he shills for, partners with, and wouldn't make any money without? Fucking Amazon. This guy is acting like some kind of a socialist hero, and he and Amazon are doing one of the greatest public 69s of all time. They are sucking each other off simultaneously. Dan Clancy at Twitch, owned by Amazon, and Hassan Piker. Hassan gets away with everything, gets preferential treatment from the largest corporation in the world. And he's going to sit here and talk about how the workers need to own the means of production and this and that. I bet you if Dan Clancy told Hassan Piker, hey, Hassan, we're having some trouble. The workers at Twitch want to unionize. We need you to criticize that movement so it doesn't happen. Otherwise, we might enforce the rules on you the same as we do everyone else. And I bet you Hassan would take up Dan Clancy's mantle to,
in a heartbeat,
go after the organized labor who wanted more control over the means of production. So, no, it's not that you were wealthy and always have been wealthy. It's that you preach one thing, but you do whatever's convenient for you. That's the problem.
Right. Like a trust fund baby.
Like a trust fund baby. And in a way, I don't 100% blame him. Life's just been too easy. And that's not something that makes him a bad guy. That's not something that makes him awful. But when life's been too easy and you don't recognize it and you try to play up like you've earned this authority, it comes off as really fucking shitty and gross.
It genuinely doesn't make sense. Aren't your dad a billionaire? No, man.
See, now that's a guy who grew up working class because he talks like a peasant. Aren't your dad a billionaire? And here's another thing Hassan does that I'll never understand and I think contributes to most of his stress. He seeks, look at this, the chat here. He seeks this shit out.
Right.
He looks for shit to make him mad. And I have a feeling that's how he does the news also.
Probably.
He looks for the shit that's going to make him mad, and he focuses on that. Aren't your dad a billionaire? As far as I'm concerned, you can skip that chat because it's barely fucking English. But
someone obviously doesn't have a good grasp on grammar. We can let them come back to it, put their thoughts together, circle around, do it again.
Now, see, if that guy ended up becoming a millionaire, I would believe that he's rags to riches.
You're a 27-month subscriber. Are you that fucking stupid? No.
He has $989 million, not a billion.
No, but you're right. That is how a trust fund baby would react to that. Aren't your dad a billionaire? No, he's only worth $62 million. Oh, well, geez. You didn't tell us he was a pauper.
Able to financially take care of my parents. Both of my parents.
Wow. There's another wiggle thing. I'm wealthy enough to financially take care of both of my parents. Nobody's saying you're not. We're saying they are too.
We're saying they laugh at the money you have. Right. Is what we're saying. We're saying that your dad, like you meet up with your dad, you're like, hey dad, I made like $3 million this year. I'm pretty stoked. I'm $3 million. And he's looking at you going, oh, yeah, only $3.
My company just signed a $60 million deal with the UAE.
Are people who genuinely believe that, by the way. They literally think like, oh, he comes from a billionaire family. It's like, you're fucking dumb. You're so dumb. God damn it.
Right. I don't come from a billionaire family. They're multi-millionaires. Get it right. God. He does. Like, he has all the hallmarks of a trust fund baby.
I've never noticed. This is actually kind of enjoyable. I've never seen this kind of stuff before. Because again, I just I avidly avoid Hassan Piker. So I just, this is exciting. I can't believe
that's your problem. That's your problem that you actively avoid Hassan Piker. That's a mistake in my mind. There's gold in them there hills.
I just have other things going on.
In Turkey, he would be on fucking lists if that was the case.
Oh.
Is unironically that I know, no, sorry. It's not a no joke situation because I just can't sometimes tell because there are people who like legitimately believe that. There are people who unironically believe that.
I'm trying to empathize with Hassan Piker right now because I think his mindset is not a unique one to people who were born with money.
Right. No, everyone who's born with money thinks that no, I wasn't. I had to struggle. They don't want to hear that they had it easy. They don't want to hear that their persecutions and their tribulations aren't validated because other people had it way worse.
It's probably an awful form of imposter syndrome that they have to be suffering from. That no matter how much Hassan Piker accomplishes, no matter how much he's a commentator or he's in magazines and websites and things like that, no matter how many lists he makes, he's worried about what other people think, and he's worried that those other people think he's a trust fund baby. He's only where he is because of his uncle and his dad and nepotism. But everybody, to a degree, has somebody help them out along the way. Like, nobody would blame someone. I bet you if you asked people who don't like Hassan Piker, him being a trust fund baby and him having wealthy parents is not something that people hate about him. They're like, there's 500 other things I can't stand about this fucking guy. And that's what I dislike about him.
It's not even on the top of the list. I actually say, again, it's kind of endearing because it someone like him very easily could just sit back and do nothing, but he's managed to cultivate a substantial grift for himself. He's convincing everybody that he's this big champion of socialism while he takes all their money on behalf of a very not socialist corporation. So it's great.
Here, Hassan Piker dad net worth. Let's check it out. What's Hassan Piker's dad's worth? His dad is worth $5 billion. No. His father happened to be the second wealthiest person in Turkey. He's just not showing up on a list for some reason. What the fuck does that mean? Uh-oh.
He'd be on lists if he was wealthy in Turkey. Like, they'd go after him or some shit. Like, really?
Mehmet Bechet Piker. Let's type that in. Mehmet Bechet Piker net worth. Yeah, these lists all say around $5 billion. Ilhan Omar was giving an interview, and I got to give Ilhan Omar some credit, I think.
What?
I think she knows how hated she is. I think she knows what everyone's complaint of her is, and I think she's leaning in.
Why not? It's not. It's going to fucking hurt you. Right. Your supporters won't give two shits.
Yeah, they'll vote for you all day unless another Somali lady comes along.
Right.
Like, the only way Somalis in Minnesota lose either their state representative, state senate, or congressional seat in this state is if another Somali primaries them. That's the only way they can lose. They have that much influence in those districts. But I think Ilhan Omar knows that we all think of her as a Somalia first Democrat. We all think that she, kind of in many ways hates America, doesn't like the way it is, wants to come in here and tell us, how to live. Like, hey, marrying your brother ain't so bad. Trust me. She gave an interview with Democracy Now! And it caused me to have a second theory about Ilhan Omar, which is that Ilhan Omar knows exactly what she's doing. And when Ilhan Omar goes on like MSNBC or Ilhan Omar goes on ABC or one of those, I think she tones it down a little. But when she goes on Democracy Now!, which is like the most far left thing you're going to find, although I will give...
She cranks it up to 11?
I think she cranks it up to 11, but I want to give Democracy Now! One thing. Yes, they're extremely left-wing. They're fucking a little batty and they're very biased, but they were one of the first people to call out the 9/11 conspiracy. They were one of the first people to jump on that. This is Ilhan Omar talking about Somalia versus the United States. Now, most of us would say there really isn't a comparison.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, one's kind of polluted and relatively lawless.
And the other one's
just polluted.
Somalia, yeah. No. So Ilhan Omar goes on Democracy Now! She wants to talk about how, maybe in America we're a little too full of ourselves.
Armed men who are in plain clothes that are snatching people off the streets, unwilling to identify themselves.
But enough about the Mogadishu militias.
You have
I was going to say enough about how women get married in Somalia.
Being deployed in our streets. My God, this is America. You have states' rights being disregarded. So, a constitutional crisis that's being created in front of our eyes. And the same week where we have a president who has deployed the military who are trained to kill our enemies, not Americans, but our enemies, are in our streets. It's the same week that we are going to have a military parade. Can you imagine that image?
By the way, the military is trained to kill enemies of the government.
Yeah, dude. They're trained. I don't know if you've seen enough movies, ma'am, but they're trained to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right. They're not swearing to protect you and I. The military is not there to protect you and I. The military is there to protect enemies of the United States government. And you and I ain't the United States government all the time. I mean, this idea, I mean, this is something a lot of people had to learn the hard way during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, oh, the police and the military, they'll stand up to all these shutdowns and they'll stand up. No, they won't.
They'll do as they're told. That's the system.
They will go to a bar and restaurant's front door and tell that owner to lock it the fuck up or they're going to be arrested. That's what the cops in the military will do. So, Ilhan Omar, I'm sorry, honey, but no, the military is there to, they're trained to kill enemies of the government. Not only that, I love it when lefties, when far left borderline socialists discover their inner small government libertarian and all of a sudden are totally pro states' rights.
Yeah, all of a sudden they give a shit about states' rights. It's really weird. But this is one of those, again, with the immigration thing, with states' rights. Where were you guys 4 years ago when Arizona and Texas said, hey, states' rights, we believe in a southern border, we're going to put up our own, and the administration shut that shit down? I don't remember you guys.
No, they don't. You don't understand. They don't like that states' rights.
Well, that's weird. Weird. Okay, but what about the states' rights with the Roe v. Wade thing, where they demolished that? Now it's a states.
Johnny, those are bad.
But states' rights.
Yeah, but those are bad states' rights. Like, let's say Florida and Texas wanted to keep all of their businesses open while people were catching something a little worse than the common cold. That's bad states' rights.
I have so much trouble. I thought it was just a simple yes or no on the states' rights. Are we pro or anti-states' rights?
No, you need to learn something about being a Democrat or being a Republican. If you're not in power, going against your own principles fucking rules if you can make the people in power look bad.
Okay.
Exactly. Just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Weird. Yeah. I actually kind of spit up a little at the thought of it. That's strange.
And when you're in power,
very disingenuous.
When you're in power, this is something Republicans can learn. It's totally okay to be completely contradictory on what you believe as long as your party is the one doing the contradictory thing. Like putting the military in the streets and spending billions and billions and billions of dollars and, running up deficits of $1.8 trillion a year. It's totally okay to be for that, but it's only when your guys do it that it's okay. That's
putting more military boots on the ground in some more places in South America.
No, that's called what that's called is being principled.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I thought there was no new wars. We got like 3 now.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's fine. It's how you stay consistent.
That is going to be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and
failed dictators don't win elections, sweetheart. Also, I grew up. See, this chick is such a Somalia apologist and blames America for everything. Like, look, you want to criticize America? There's a shitload of meat on that bone. I mean, what's going on right now with the shutdown and these guys all swinging their dicks at each other, these Democrats and Republicans, while poor people can't get their fucking SNAP benefits re-upped. That's shameful. That's really gross. That's a shitty thing the wealthiest country in the world does. You can criticize America, but to use Somalia as a comparison is, it's beyond retarded. And for Ilhan Omar to go, I grew up in Somalia. I didn't see troops on the streets. That's because you guys
weren't allowed to go out without the company of a dude, so that makes sense.
That's because you guys didn't have a central government that could even have a military. It was all competing militias. When you grew up in Somalia, your warlords were stealing so much fucking foreign food aid and starving the people so badly that the rest of the world agreed we're all going to send a few troops. so we can make sure the people can eat. Your country that you grew up in was so fucked that we had to import it to America, and you still can't make it work. And
I'd like to point out, you guys got here, shit's gone so bad, we've had to deploy the military into these cities.
I mean, Somalia didn't have, you're right, Somalia didn't have its own government's military in the street with the people because Somalia couldn't get their shit together enough to even have a military. You had to have about 50 other countries' militaries come into your country so that they could get the shit to shoe level so that people could get a fucking sandwich. We had to shoot a bunch of militiamen on rooftops with Little Bird helicopters so that a burger could get into a kid's mouth. You fucking traitor. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. She's not a traitor. She's very loyal to the country she supports and comes from and believes in.
I personally think we should do her a favor and, all expenses, airplane ticket, first class back. By all means, head on back. Head on back to the land of milk and honey, sweetie.
People are putting the green lights in the chat. This is not the white power hour. I'm criticizing a Somali congresswoman.
Two things are true at the same time.
No, this is not a white power hour. We're not lighting the lamp. Let's see if the lamp even works today. Oh, hey, the lamp is working. But
the lamp thinks it's a white power hour.
This is not a what we are criticizing.
You ask the lamp.
No, we're criticizing someone who's saying shit. Stop it with those green lanterns. Stop it. We are not, the WPH train only takes off if we do $35 in 5 minutes. And we're not doing that. So no, people now in the YouTube chat are just writing wee woo. No, there's no wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. None of that. None. Zero. It's not happening.
Just what happened. That's it. It's not, and we're all done now.
No, that wasn't it either. I was criticizing someone's legitimate words. Them being black was incidental.
Like I said, two things true at the same time. Like I said, we can multitask.
I've been trying to make this argument my entire career. The fact that they're black is like the 19th thing wrong with them. I mean,
Nope, keep digging. Keep digging.
Race is not a factor in what I'm trying to tell you.
When I see them, I don't even think of them as a race of human.
No,
is that what you're saying?
No,
is that what you're saying?
See, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that she is wrong in her opinions.
Right.
And that Somalia is such a shithole that they're not even bad enough to get a military, or they're not even good enough. They can't even get a military to put in the streets. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a black Muslim lady.
So you don't even think about her as a black Muslim lady? It doesn't even register.
No. I'm saying that my criticism is not based in race. It's based in the words she's speaking. And I do look at her as a human being.
Okay.
Good.
Just not an equal.
I didn't say I didn't say that I don't see.
I mean, let's fucking brass tacks. At the end of the day, she's still a woman.
I didn't say that I don't see her as an equal. That's okay. Jon Stewart was doing an interview with the New Yorker, and this guy from the New Yorker is the biggest douche. His name's Remnick. Is this guy? I think it's David Remnick. And he interviewed Jon Stewart. And, you know, Jon Stewart and other people deserve a lot of credit because it takes balls to stick up for people when there's like an internet onslaught against them.
Right.
Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that. It doesn't take balls because then you realize the internet is fake and gay and full of bots and that it doesn't cost you anything. But what I'm saying is, like, it would be so easy for Jon Stewart to either say no comment or throw shade at Rogan and shit on the guy to, like, add to the pile on. Jon Stewart does an awesome job here because this New Yorker asshole is thinking
he's
like
doing a thing.
He thinks he's got a buddy in Jon Stewart and they're gonna chortle a little bit at Joe's expense. And Jon Stewart does a really good job of defending these guys.
John, you've been on Rogan a couple of times?
Yes.
What did you think of that experience, being on Joe Rogan?
I enjoyed being on Rogan. I think he's an interesting interviewer. There are right-wing, weaponized commentators whose sole purpose is to manipulate things to the benefit of the Bannon Project.
But enough about Mark Levin. Oh, sorry.
Or the Project 2025. Rogan's not that guy.
What is that guy? How would you describe
that guy
him?
is a curious comic who fell into this thing that got fucking enormous, maybe doesn't, has opinions all over the political spectrum, but has tendencies that people on the left does not fit the aesthetic. He's a hunter.
In fairness, he's had people on who are kind of Nazi curious.
This is what I mean about this guy.
You're trying to paint a picture.
You know, but I don't.
You asked a question, you're getting an answer, and you're interrupting him because it's not fitting your narrative.
Exactly. He's kind of doing the thing that Jon Stewart is kind of describing. This Remnick, trying to look like a neutral journalist, asks this question about Joe Rogan. But when John doesn't start giving him the answer that he wants, he goes, whoa, wait a minute. I got to steer this thing. It must be really exhausting to be this kind of a guy, because to just interview someone can be really interesting and really fun. But to be an interviewer who has in the back of their head, I have to talk to this guy a certain way or people might say mean things about me on Twitter, it's got to be really stressful, and it's got to be really, it's got to fuck with you a little bit, because this guy is clearly doing that. He thought Jon Stewart was going to give him a certain thing on Rogan, and he didn't. And Jon Stewart has done a very good job, really his entire career, of being a truth teller that makes everybody mad or makes everybody uncomfortable. And that's the good sign that someone's usually giving you the straight dish on something, is that you don't always like it. It's not always what you want to hear. That usually means they're being genuine. And I think Jon Stewart is very genuine, especially here. So Nazi curious. And this is another thing that guys like Remnick do. They bring up this Nazi curious. If they can't, they tried doing the Nazi thing for years, and that got smacked down. So now everyone has to be Nazi curious or Nazi adjacent.
That's not good.
I've interviewed Kissinger. And he was carpet bomb curious. I don't know what to say. It's very easy to castigate those where we're like, but he had an opinion a few years back that's, corrosive.
But the difference is, when he was carpet bomb curious, you didn't say, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And what happens with Rogan sometimes is he'll hear somebody that's on the dangerous end of the spectrum.
Who?
And he'll just kind of soak it in.
Like what?
But this is gatekeeping. He's like on the dangerous end of the spectrum. It's not like Joe Rogan has Nick Fuentes on saying, I don't believe the Holocaust happened. And by the way, as much as I disagree with that opinion, you're allowed to believe it didn't happen.
Right. And you're allowed to have people on your show who espouse that opinion.
Right. This fear of people saying shit is what makes Nick Fuentes huge. And by the way, that's what all of these guys are afraid of right now. They don't say his name because they're worried he's like Joe Hendry and he'll appear. They don't say his name, but the rise of Nick Fuentes has caused all of these media guys to start making up this invisible Nazi in their head because they don't want to say Nick Fuentes. So they go,
say his name, Jews disappear. I believe in Nick Fuentes.
Because from everywhere but a place in Tel Aviv. Oh.
And this is,
but no, that gate, before we continue with this, that gatekeeping shit annoys the fuck out of me. That guys like him go, having someone on you disagree with is fine. But once it gets to this arbitrary opinion that I've chosen in my head, now I get to morally grandstand.
Now it's not
and say
okay.
it's
Now
not
these are
okay.
dangerous people.
Yeah. But notice, like Jon Stewart said, he interviewed Kissinger. Kissinger's a fucking war criminal who should have been put to death. Henry Kissinger is a truly evil, evil man. And this guy, that's okay because Henry Kissinger was in the DC world. He was in the political game. So even if that guy does really evil shit like murder Cambodians, who we weren't at war with, murdered. It's one thing to firebomb Vietnamese civilians. He went and he murdered Laotians and Cambodians that we weren't at war with. And that guy's okay to talk to. But if you say something that's not in this guy's wheelhouse, how dare you have him on a show?
Right. Soak it in.
And this is, I think this is a great point. And it's whoever job who thinks that information is dangerous, to fight to get their point of view out there to counter what they think is misinformation. You can't just deputize people to say he should have known better and he should have prosecuted that point.
But the reality is, John, is that it might be my job or the New York Times job or even your job, but I don't have the audience that Joe Rogan does.
Then get it.
So what? That's not on whose fucking fault is that?
Could it be that you guys have manipulated and lied to people enough where they don't trust you anymore? And if Joe Rogan has a Nazi curious guy on, which you're going to have to explain to me who that is.
Kanye.
Did he have Kanye on?
I don't know, but you say Nazi curious, and I'm immediately like, unless we're talking Nick Fuentes, we're going Kanye.
He better not.
Mean, and here's where I don't even buy Nick Fuentes on that. Nick Fuentes isn't a Nazi. He just very much doesn't like Jews, and he'll tell you why.
But my thing with the Joe Rogan comparison is they better not be talking about Daryl Cooper, because Daryl Cooper is a historian. He's not Nazi curious. But anyway, this guy's like, whoa. Jon Stewart's basically saying, if you don't like what they're saying, you have a platform, say the opposite. And this guy's going, but it's not fair. I don't have the platform he does. This is the way that people like Joe Rogan have had to operate for the last 100 years. And now for a couple of years, because you guys have been lying shitbags for so long, you're not in the catbird seat anymore. Now you're going to lie and bitch and complain, but I don't have as many followers as Joe Rogan. That sounds like a you problem, brother.
Then get it.
Yeah,
then find people who do. Yeah. Then go on that show. Then do those things. Like that is, it's not acceptable to just say, well, I don't like what he does. Then do it better. Beat them at their own game. It's not enough to just complain that guy got a platform, and don't platform that guy. There's no one in this world right now that isn't platformed. And my biggest frustration, honestly, with a lot of scientists is they all go, RFK, oh, he's so fucked up. That's terrible information. Oh, okay. What's the information? Nothing. Where are they?
Right.
Get out there.
No, it's because RFK Jr. is saying shit that might be true and goes against the people who have been cutting you checks.
Right. And the people that don't like that information getting out are the ones who are like, well, look, I don't like this. But it's the liar thing. It's detrimental to my case.
Exactly. And that's how I feel a lot of these people who like to go after Rogan and Bill Burr and all these other people. It's kind of how they operate too. Well, I have to frame this a certain way. Otherwise, this just looks like me being a jealous cunt.
I will say in the Bill Burr situation, he did kind of set himself up a little bit back when he made statements about saying how doing something like he did wouldn't be okay. Years
like the
before.
Beyonce stuff.
Yeah, like just going on and saying I don't want to go, or something about not going and performing for certain people. I don't know the exact context. He said something contrary to him going over.
What he was saying was Beyonce and Mariah Carey performed for Gaddafi's children.
Okay.
And he's like, well, are we going to pretend the Pan Am bombing didn't happen? And now people are saying, well, Bill, you went and performed in Saudi Arabia. Didn't they do 9/11? We gotta make up our minds on this shit. Was 9/11 a false flag done by our own government, or was it done by the Saudis? Because I don't think you can criticize Bill Burr for going to Saudi Arabia on the 9/11 thing if you don't believe the official story of 9/11.
Yeah, I kind of believe it was. Well, I hate to say this. I kind of believe it was like it wasn't done on behalf of Saudi Arabia. It was allowed to happen by our government and say other organizations working with said government. And so it's kind of this weird mixed bag where they did attack us, but they attacked us because we played dead and we asked them to.
Jon Stewart made a point about the Saudi Arabia thing that I thought was really good. He said, I don't police other people's money, but I wish these guys wouldn't make it like we're just starting a conversation thing. You know? Like, he's like, go ahead, go make your money, go perform a show wherever you'd like to.
Right.
But he was like, he was like, don't do that thing that Bill Burr did, which he said it in this same interview. But I'm not finding the clip because if you type in Jon Stewart, Saudi Arabia, there's all kinds of shit that comes up.
There's a few things there.
But he also shit on Marin, saying like, come on, you're taking all of this from a guy who's one of the most, like, he even said, he goes, I've known Mark Maron, and that guy has a lot of skeletons in his closet, and he hasn't treated people very well either. You know, he's gone.
I don't know. I haven't known Mark Maron.
He said that, you know, Mark Maron has done a lot of shady shit to a lot of people. And Jon Stewart's comment was basically, I don't police other people's money. Just don't say you're doing it for moral reasons, like you're trying to start a conversation. And
or you're trying to, like, you know, push the bounds and bring democracy. No. You're doing it because they gave you a paycheck and you're there to make a paycheck. Exactly. You're an entertainer. You're a performer. You're paid to do a gig. That's the thing. When you're paid to play a character, it doesn't mean you fully support that character. I'm pretty sure plenty of people don't support the characters they play in movies as like, oh, I believe in everything they did. No. You got paid to be that character for that movie.
Mark Levin is back at it. Now, this is the kind of shit I like. I'm sorry. I like talking about the news. I like talking about shit that's going on. I like the Goofy Monkey story. I'm a funny guy. I'm engaging. I'm the best show host, you know. So sometimes I have to get away from you people and just do the things I like. And if we fail, we fail. Let the chips fall where they may. Maybe I should go back to jail. Mark Levin was at the Republican Jewish Coalition Conference over the weekend, and they had a bunch of these guys talking. And one of the things they were doing at the Republican Jewish Convention is they were trying to hijack the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again movement. The Republican Jewish Coalition wants to be able to tell everyone what is MAGA and what is not MAGA. Now, I would say that Donald Trump has more than laid out what it means to be MAGA, and that, you know, you follow that, make America great again. You put America first. You're respected again on the world stage. Those are kind of the tenets. But the Republican Jewish Coalition is seeing something that they don't like, and that's people not liking Israel. And it's not because of any propaganda. It's not. All people have been doing is watching Israel's behavior. And it's not new behavior, but I think people are starting to notice it now. It's the behavior they've been engaged in since about 1948 and before. But people are now starting to notice it, and Republicans especially, which were the last bastion of support for Israel, are now bailing. They're out too, being spearheaded by people like Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, Candace Owens, and the new kid on the block, this Nick Fuentes, who, even though he's been banned from just about everything, he's still breaking through. He's still the hottest ticket out there. So many of the old neocons who I offer are not conservative at all and not make America great again. These neocons are essentially Democrats who like Israel, so thus they have kind of hijacked the Republican Party for the last 25 or 30 years. There's nothing like conservative, Republican, old school about them. If it means give money to Israel, they're for it. If it means spend trillions of dollars on foreign adventures, they're for it. So, these guys held George W. Bush's hand all through his deficit spending, and they were totally cool with it. So I don't really know what's conservative about these guys. I don't really know what's Republican about these guys, and I don't know what's Make America Great Again about these guys, other than they want to be able to hijack that movement so they can tell you what it is, so they can steer you away from popular voices that are critical of them. Mark Levin is one of the biggest offenders of this. There was Representative Randy Fine, there was this guy, Mark Levin, and there were a couple other people at this conference, and they had signs made that said, Tucker Carlson is not MAGA. Tucker's not MAGA. They get to decide. And why isn't Tucker MAGA? Well, not because he said something that upsets the apple cart of Make America Great Again or America First, but because he spoke to Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes doesn't like Jews and he doesn't like Israel. So apparently, not liking Jews and not liking Israel, that somehow, if you have that guy on your show, you don't get to be MAGA anymore. I mean, it's so transparent that I hope nobody's actually falling for this shit. See, I worry about this. Are people listening to Mark Levin and the Republican Jewish Coalition and buying this? Because Tucker has gained a lot of ground. Candace and Nick and Dave Smith, they've all gained a lot of ground. They've all influenced a lot of people just by talking. But I wonder if guys like Mark Levin and mainstream old Republicans keep saying, Tucker's not MAGA, Tucker's not MAGA, Tucker's not MAGA. And then you got Ben Shapiro out there. You got Steven Crowder, who's now starting to line up, not like totally against Tucker Carlson. I was watching a Crowder clip on this just before the show. And Crowder, you can tell, is being critical of Tucker, but he's trying to keep one foot in the good because Crowder wants to stay relevant. Ben Shapiro is totally on Mark Levin's side. And it seems like Tucker has sparked off this underlying conflict between people who actually believe in conservatism, people who actually believe in Make America Great Again, actually believe in America first, and the people who see America as almost a client state of Israel and don't want to lose that level of support. Here's what I think. If you pledge allegiance to any nation other than America, you are not America first. You're not Make America Great Again. So the ball's on you to tell somebody else that they're not Make America Great Again. I mean, that takes some real, if I may, chutzpah. So if you're sitting there going, well, Israel's our greatest ally, we got to back them up all the time, I think you forfeit your America First MAGA credentials. So how dare you say that other people are not MAGA simply because all they're saying is we don't want to support a country that's fucking bombing a section of the world into a genocide. This is Mark Levin on Tucker Carlson at the Republican Jewish Convention over the weekend.
The anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me.
Now, wait a minute. This seems like a trick because there was a guy a long time ago who tried that move and it really didn't go. It didn't end well for that guy. Now, wait a minute. You don't get to invite a Holocaust. You can't Holocaust bait. That's not fair. You'll have to go through me and millions more like me. That seems like you're trying to trick me.
To come through me and millions of people just like me.
In fact, the number is it's a bit disputed, but 6 million people are just like me.
And you're not going to make it. You think your stupid little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program,
whoa,
or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show.
He literally just named every form of media. He's like, you think your little podcast or your little radio show or your little TV show or your little subscriptions. Oh, fuck. That is going to make a difference, isn't it? That's going to really cut into our messaging. You think that your form of media that basically reaches everyone in the world unfettered by gatekeepers is going to cut down on our influence? People aren't. Why aren't you people listening? You don't get popcorn while I'm talking. Mark Levin's like, do you think that the show you do to millions of people is going to? Oh, it says here according to the polling that yes, indeed, it is going to cut into our messaging. Son of a bitch.
Or your little TV show. Or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is. Not if I and everybody else have something to say about it.
Yeah, but you don't have as much to say about it as those people do. Tucker's getting a bigger audience than you are. Candace Owens getting a bigger audience than you are. This is the problem that these people on the Republican side have. They're on the wrong side of the free speech debate. Remember that big debate? Remember Republicans the last 10 years have been like, there's cancel culture. They're coming after our free speech on social media, on YouTube, and all this. Well, now it seems like Republicans have won the free speech debate. But now that they've won the free speech debate, they have to fight amongst themselves. They've got to weed out the people who are just using it as a talking point versus the people who actually believe it. And nobody has lived free speech more than Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, and Tucker Carlson. They've all been canceled from something because of their opinions. And surprisingly, for 2 out of 3 of them, it's directly related to their opinions on Israel. So when you have a Nick Fuentes or a Candace Owens or a Dave Smith or any of these people who want to talk to people and want to interview people, and then you've got a Mark Levin who goes, you're not going to change minds as long as I have something to say about it. We'll shut you down, blah, blah, blah. You're finding out that the Mark Levins of the world, they never actually believed in this fight against cancel culture. They never believed in this free speech fight. They only wanted it for themselves so that they could control the messaging. So oddly enough, Mark Levin and his ilk have found themselves wrapped in this boa constrictor where no matter what they do, it doesn't end well for them. You can struggle and resist and say, shut them down, don't let them speak. And it's just going to squeeze you and crush you. Or you can sit there and just kind of keep doing your thing, let them do their thing, and more people will gravitate towards them because they seem like they're at least telling you what they honestly believe versus some pre-approved, pre-funded talking point. So then you're just going to be devoured by the snake anyway. I think what happened was there was a global shift in people's perceptions of Israel. And people, like evolution, people either adapted or died. The Mark Levins of the world decided they were going to serve 2 masters, and they were going to be Israelis and Americans. People caught on to that, and they gravitated more towards people who gave an America first message, like Tucker, like Candace, like Dave Smith, like Nick Fuentes. So Mark Levin didn't get screwed over. Mark Levin wasn't anti-Semited out of anything. Mark Levin competed in the marketplace of ideas with other people, and he lost because his ideas weren't as good or people didn't perceive him as honest. And now he's pouting. That's what Mark Levin's doing now. He's pouting. That's why he named every single form of media and then said, you're not going to win. Newsflash, Mark, they already are. They're already beating you. And again, I don't think it's because overnight all of America just became anti-Semitic. I think what happened was whether they agree with Nick Fuentes, whether they agree with Tucker Carlson, they felt like what those people were saying to them was honest. Whereas Mark Levin, it just feels, what's the word you would use? Slimy. It feels slimy when Mark Levin does it. Parody says, old native saying, man with his feet in 2 canoes gets wet. I like that one. I like them. I like that saying. 8 Fu Toad says, as the sun moves and each day progresses, their shadows come more into the light. Tilt One says, Levin looked like Mr. Pitt at the Poland Creek merger meeting. It's a good reference. It's a good reference. So I actually welcome this civil war in the Republican Party because I'm not a Republican. But I like the fact that this party is debating with itself and they're having a discussion and they actually give a shit where they're going to go next. I like that. I wish the Democratic Party would have that fight. What the Democratic Party tends to do with their crazies is they tend to go, shut the fuck up. We just vote with us, but don't make any fucking noise. No. We don't have it. No, there's no AOCs here. Don't worry. It's just the Schumers and the Pelosi's, just us establishment Democrats. Shut the fuck up. Nope, just us. Don't worry. Whereas Republicans, they're just like, Democrats are that Stepford wife household where she puts makeup all over her black eye because she doesn't want to see how dysfunctional the family really is. You know, until the son goes off to military school at 18, that's the Bernie bros breaking off the party. They just want to present this good image. The Republicans are that white trash family with a vehicle on blocks in their front yard, just like going, you better not go to the abortion clinic, Betty May. You're too young to be making those decisions by yourself. Fuck you, Dad. You got Mom pregnant when she was 15. Why you need to air our dirty laundry out in public, girl? And don't you be taking my car keys. I'm going to the market later to pick up some scratch-offs. You're drunk, Dad. You're always drunk. I drive better when I'm drunk. They don't realize the entire neighborhood is out on the lawn watching these people. They don't give a shit. We're enjoying the show. So to Tucker and Fuentes and Candace and all, keep talking crazy shit. To Mark Levin, keep getting pissed off at all the crazy shit they're talking because at least to me, it's wildly entertaining. Dude, it was the same thing when the Tea Party people came about. Remember, the Tea Party people came about. They're like, we want to balance the budget. No more spending. No more bailouts. This is horseshit. And the Republican Party went, oh, my God, what are we going to do? We love wars and we love bailouts. Can we shut those guys up? And they had this big public fight for a long time. And then eventually they just kind of slowly got those Tea Party people back in line. Back in line. And now between Epstein and Israel, the Republicans are fighting each other again for the party's soul. And again, I think this stuff is really good for the country in general. The Gun Show says, bro, most of us in the GOP have been broken away from the party since we became the Tea Party. Yes, I agree. Gun Show says, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro know that they are becoming irrelevant. Tucker and Nick are simply more relevant. The Jewish coalition are now anti-free speech. And that's becoming the gross thing that I've been noticing, is that all of these guys who fought side by side with these guys, they were indistinguishable in 2016 up through COVID. Now, all of a sudden, when the tide's not turning their way, now we find out what they're really about, and they've really always just been about themselves. You know, one thing that I really appreciate about Tucker Carlson is that he has no problem when people confront him. And I think this makes you untouchable. When people confront him on shit like the Iraq war and stuff like that, Tucker just goes, yeah, I was wrong. I think that is one of the most disarming things you can do to people, is when they try to do that ex-girlfriend shit and they try to bring up stuff from years and years ago, and you just go, yeah, I was wrong. It totally cuts them off. It totally stops them at the pass, and I love that. And Tucker does such a good job of that. Whereas Mark Levin and these other assholes, they can never be wrong. And they will defend a dying point until it's all the way 6 feet in the ground, because God forbid they look fallible. All right, let's go to Nick Fuentes responding to Mark Levin. So last night we played you that clip of old whiny voice Levin going, yeah, you can take all your podcasts, you can take your TV shows and your radio shows and your subscription services, and us Jews are still going to spread lies about you and talk enough shit about you and passive-aggressively try to destroy you that you won't get to win the battle of ideas against us. So Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, Lindsey Graham, all of these guys, the old guard Republicans who still think Israel is the greatest thing ever and Jesus wants us to bomb people that looked like him. All of those people are trying to push back against this wave of the new era Republicans, which is America first. No more of they don't understand why our tax dollars are going to fight Israel, and then also to bribe other Middle Eastern countries to not attack Israel. That's the other thing people don't consider. It's not just the $3.5 billion that we give to Israel. It's also the billions that we give Saudi Arabia. It's the billions we give Lebanon. It's the billions we give these other countries. Egypt is another one, to not attack Israel. If we pulled back all that money, Israel might be swallowed up by all those Arab nations. And honestly, it would probably save lives ultimately. Long term, there would be more peace in the region. Let me ask you this. If Israel never became a country, would there have been more people dead the last 60, 70 years, or less people dead the last 60 or 70 years? Go ahead and answer that. But all these guys, these establishment neocon Republicans, are running up against Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, and these kind of new, well, I'll throw Steven Crowder in with the old guard, with Shapiro and all those guys. All these neocon guys who were propped up by billionaires who were giving them talking points on their show, they're now being beaten back by these grassroots podcast guys who are just coming up with their own money, funding their own shows, and they're drawing more numbers than Levin. They're changing more minds than Levin. I mean, these guys, you could argue they've turned an entire generation against Israel. I would argue that Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder turned an entire generation against Israel. I would say Netanyahu turned an entire generation against Israel. But Nick Fuentes is the big target du jour now because he's all over the place. I mean, this is a guy who's earned it. He's been canceled from everything. They won't let him, in some cases, have fucking bank accounts. And he's still broken through, and he's still undeniable. So Mark Levin feels like he has to attack him. He has to attack Tucker Carlson. Here's where the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros of the world are at a severe disadvantage. Nick Fuentes is 28 years old, and he grew up as a shit-talking troll on the internet. And when you're trying to be the kippa-wearing, straight-laced suit and tie, let me tell you what real conservative Americans in the small towns think, blah, blah, blah. When you're starting to do that bullshit Rush Limbaugh impression that you do, Nick Fuentes isn't going to meet you on that field. Nick Fuentes is going to talk endless amounts of shit about you, giggle about it, and laugh with his fans. And that's going to drive you nuts because we want to talk about, you don't know that Ehud Barak in 2001 said nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about your brainwashing bullshit. So Mark Levin goes on, fuck your podcast, fuck your radio shows. You're not going to beat us. So Nick Fuentes responds by saying this about Mark Levin. And I got to say, the kid's got chops.
Levin seems to be the most honest out of all of them. He's certainly the most emotional. He's sort of like a woman. Mark Levin is kind of like transgender. I think he might have a vagina because he's the most emotional. And it's weird about Jews. They all have like a weird thing with their mothers. And it has to do with the religion. We could get into that in the super chats.
Oh, no.
But they all have this weird dynamic with their moms. All the Jews, not all, but a lot of them, they have the overbearing mother complex.
Oh, no.
And so many of the men are very emotional and they're very histrionic, like women. And Mark Levin, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a vagina, actually. If he's...
Come the fuck. This is why these guys are dinosaurs heading towards the La Brea tar pits. This is why they're going to lose. Because who would you rather listen to? Would you rather listen to the guy who goes, Israel is our greatest ally because they're the only democracy in the Middle East and they're pushing back against these Islamo-fascist terrorists? Or a guy who goes, doesn't this guy sound like he's got a pussy? Jesus Christ, these fucking crybaby Jews and their mommy issues. Holy shit. That guy's trans, isn't he? Like, Mark Levin's getting all pissed off, like, that Nick Fuentes is anti-Semitic and he hates the Jews. And he's like, God, those Jews are whiny, aren't they? I wouldn't be surprised if that guy's got a twat.
A girl, because he's such an emotional woman. You watch his speech, he's literally shaking with anger. Literally cannot control himself. He talks about he said, my grandpa fought at Guadalcanal. Was your grandpa a girl too?
You're like, okay, all these guys, Shapiro, Levin, whatever, they're going to have to sit down with this guy. They're going to have to either go on his show or they're going to have him on their show. Because you're not going to win a back and forth with Nick Fuentes when he controls the response. He's a shit-talking little fucker. And shit-talking little fuckers always beat the angry people. Use this show as an example. They can't knock us off the fucking rails, and I went to the pokey, for God's sake. And we're still cruising right along. Why? Because we have a sense of humor. They, Joe's the most evil guy in the world. And we just go, poke, and they go, Rah! The people who smile and just talk shit and don't take this as life and death, they always win. Whereas a guy like Mark Levin, people are going to watch them and go, he's getting really red-faced and sweaty. I'm thinking this guy might be irrational or he's having a coronary. Whereas Nick Fuentes goes, you know, it really limits your argument when the guy you're trying to get mad at and cast as like the evil, you know, bloody-toothed madman goes, doesn't that guy seem like he's got a cunt and he's probably a trans? And what's with Jews and their moms, am I right? Like how everyone that you sent to that guy to go, yeah, he's a piece of shit. They're going to go, actually, he's kind of funny.
He said, where was Nick Fuentes' grandparents? My grandfather fought in World War II. And Mark Levin seems like a histrionic woman. I don't know what's going. I would say I would fight him, but one, he's an old man. He's going to be dead in 20 years. He's on his way out. Two, I think he might be a woman. So I don't even want to fight him because I don't want to hit a girl. I know people say I'm a sexist, but I don't do that. So Mark Levin, I mean, this guy's like, by definition, a Jewish pussy, which a lot of them are. And
I mean, the kid nailed it again. I mean, do we even need to, do we need to do a recount? Do I need to show you what Mark Levin said about Nick Fuentes to see what happened? Oh, wait, there was more?
And furious. The way Mark Levin talks about this country, he should be deported.
He wasn't
Not because you're Jewish, not because you're fat, not because you're gay, not because you're a pussy. Mark Levin should be deported because of the way he talks about this country. Where does he get off?
All right, this is a 6-minute rant, but it started off pretty good. What did Mark Levin, politicians who won't condemn to, so we got one guy saying you're a fat Jewish gay trans pussy. And here's what Mr. Intellectual Mark Levin say. By the way, Mark Levin, who cheerleaded Afghanistan, cheerleaded Iraq, cheerleaded the Bush administration, wants to go to war with Iran. Those all seem to be winning ideas.
How about little Adolf Fuentes?
Adolf. That's the other thing about Mark Levin. If you don't know Boomer Media, he's got little nicknames for everybody. Tucker Katarlson, because somehow I guess Tucker works for Qatar now. PMSNBC. Adolf Fuentes. The guy's a creative guy.
What did his family do for this country? What did he do? How about Tucker Katarlson?
Yeah, see, there's another.
What did he do for the country? He interviews the Qatari, interviews Putin, he interviews the lowest of scum, genocidal maniacs.
The American mainstream media used to suck Charles Manson's dick at least once a year to get in that jail and do an interview with him. All right? Sometimes, Mark, it's a journalist's job to talk to people they disagree with. Wild, right?
On the face of the earth. Now he's attacking Christian Zionists. He's literally attacking the Bible.
Yeah, you hear that, guys? That's what Tucker was obviously doing. He was attacking the Bible. By the way, I did see Tucker was on Dave Smith's show, and he did say, look, I apologize for going so hard on the Christian Zionists. A lot of my friends are Christian Zionists. They're really nice people. I got a little angry, and I got out of pocket on this. So he did apologize for that. And that's what I like about Tucker. When he feels like he went off the handle, he does say, my bad.
Evangelical Christian brothers and sisters, and it's not just that. It's Catholics. Ted Cruz is a Catholic. He's a great man. He's out there fighting.
What if Ted Cruz changed his opinion on Israel tomorrow? Would you still call him a great man? Or is this that fucking thing you guys do where as long as people are on your side, oy vey, they're such a wonderful goy. They're so good. I wish we had a million more like them. And then as soon as like a Charlie Kirk goes, hey, man, I'm off the fucking Israel train. Enough with these guys. He was always an anti-Semite. I hate him. He should only get cancer.
They're attacking Christianity. Why?
It's this disingenuous shit that people like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro do. And yes, most of them are Jewish who do this. They do this thing where it's so manipulative. It's a disingenuous endorsement of the person. It's a sly manipulation. They shower them with praise when they agree with them on the issue that's most important to them. But they can stay the same on everything else they believe, but change their opinion on that one thing that's important to them. And they're an anti-Semite and they're castigated forever.
Because Christianity rejects what they're spewing too. Judaism rejects it. Christianity rejects it. Call me whatever name in the book you want. There's something about a fucking Zionist Jewish guy telling Christians what they are and they aren't that really fucking pisses me off. There's something about that just really gets me irrationally angry. And I'm just trying not to say a lot of shit that I might regret out of anger because this is being recorded. Oh God, does that piss me off? Some Zionist Jewish guy going, well, it's actually you Christians who should be mad. You don't give a fuck what Christians think. You don't give a shit what happens to us. You just want to use us as goy pawn as long as we agree with you. So don't sit here and act like you're somehow fighting for the faith of Christians. Oh, it was actually, a good thing that we nailed your Savior to a cross. How would he have risen from the dead if we didn't have him murdered?
Don't sit here and tell me you don't give a shit. You only care about yourselves and Israel and what happens with them. You don't care what happens to these Christians. You're just using it to manipulate people to try and get them to not like Tucker Carlson. You don't give a fuck what happens to them after that.
Atheists reject it. Agnostics reject it. Gay people, straight people, women, men, we all reject it. So why is it so hard for people in my business or people in leading positions in government to do that?
Are you saying the people that run the media? Oh, dude, stop it. No, here's what's happened. A debate happened. You fucking lost. Your little manipulative brainwashing tricks didn't work this time. And you actually finally lost one. You still got to murder and slaughter women and children by the tens of thousands. I don't know why your bloodlust isn't happy. But you lost the debate and now you're bitching about it and you're trying to manipulate people into coming back to your side. God, this is so transparent. This is why people enjoy Tucker and Candace and Nick Fuentes more than they enjoy Mark Levin, by the way, because their blood pressure doesn't go to 1,000 when they listen to their disingenuous shit. There's something about being able to tell when a guy is fucking with you and being disingenuous and when a guy's just letting it flow.
The same thing. What are they afraid of? They need to be afraid of regular Americans like you and me. They need to be afraid of us. So when they hear stuff like that, they say, what? What are we going to say?
Boy, that didn't really sound like a whole lot of applause, did it? That didn't really sound like a raucous reaction that he got from that half-full room. God, you know what? Fuentes is right. That guy might have a vagina. It's just when your whole thing, when your whole vibe, when your whole MO is just doing that brainwashy shit, I'm really glad that people have caught on to it, you know? I'm just really glad that people have caught on. Adam Simon says, I love watching the mainstream media melt down. Nick Fuentes is hot shit right now. He's getting all the clicks and they're jealous. I really don't think it's jealousy. I think really what it is it's deeper than that. It's they feel the control of the narrative slipping away. They feel like their ability to tell people what to think and people buying it, they had a monopoly on it on the right because their enemy was the left. Well, the left is in shambles right now. But because of the Israel thing, it caused this rift and this civil war in conservatism, in right-wing America. And now Levin had to actually compete with other people on his own side, and he can't do it. Because his whole thing was based on kind of that sly manipulation where these other guys are like, why don't we have people on we disagree with, and why don't we have conversations with them? And people respected that more. Pray by 12 says, Candace called out Kash Patel to dispute that 12 phones from Israel were in the vicinity of the Kirk assassination. Candace Owens titled her stream today something very, very sneaky. I caught it. It was a sly little hat tip. Let me see if I can find this. Candace Owens stream today. Well, yeah, look at that. Kash Patel dances around Israelis on 9/10. Come on. Dances, Israelis, 9/10, which of course was the day Charlie Kirk was killed. Dude, we're not doing a 9/11 thing there. I thought that was pretty funny. Pray by 12 says Ted Cruz is not a Catholic. His dad is an evangelical preacher in Texas. I did not know that. Chevy Fan says Nick Fuentes said Fight Club, the movie, is gay. It's for wage slave LARPers. Really? I'm not a big fan of Fight Club either. I think Fight Club is really overrated by, it's the silent desperation of weak-willed white men. I feel like a lot of the same people who will tell you like Fight Club is one of my favorite movies also like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie because they're like, I see myself as that guy. No, you're not. You just, this is bad. Like anytime you have a guy, like you got a guy friend, if you got a bro and your bro ever tells you, I really relate to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, do one of two things. Try to help that guy or just stop being friends with him. I think after this, we're going to get into the FDA. Oh, yeah, this will be fun. So the fluoride debate is going to continue. RFK Jr.'s latest crusade is against fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
And I just know that I'm going to take a lot of shit for my fluoride stance.
You're pro-fluoride, I'm guessing.
I am. And I know that makes me a Nazi. They always say, they're like, well, the Nazis took the fluoride and the Nazis took the fluoride to make people complacent. And that's how they got them to kill Jews. Like, no, the Germans hated the fucking Jews at that point. They would have killed the Jews just if you
There were a lot of reasons before fluoride, my friend.
Yeah. There were a lot of reasons.
Like 108 of them to be exact.
Were they 109? Were they the last one?
I don't know. I just assumed they were 109.
Well, at any rate, RFK Jr. wants to get rid of the fluoride in the water. And okay, here's my thing on fluoride. Yes, in large doses, it can create problems. But to the amount it's in toothpaste, it's not an issue. And to the amount it's in your water supply, it's not an issue. Also, they have plenty of non-fluoridated water options out there for you to drink. So my thing is, fluoride is the only thing you can put in your toothpaste that can repair enamel and rebuild cavities.
No, it's one of the things. They found out they can make toothpaste out of keratin that also has a similar property.
Keratin can reverse fillings? Or fillings, yeah. I'm sorry, cavities?
Yeah.
Can keratin
Yeah, they
reverse...
They recently did studies on it. Toothpaste made out of hair.
But isn't keratin the thing that makes your fingernails all fucking goofy?
Your hair and your fingernails, yeah.
This says no, keratin cannot reverse cavities that have already formed a hole, but it has the potential to stop early stage decay by rebuilding enamel. Okay, so there's that.
Okay.
Research shows that a keratin-based treatment can create a protective layer on the teeth that mimics natural enamel, which strengthens the tooth and can repair early enamel damage before a full cavity forms. Now, let me be fair. Maybe fluoride can't reverse cavities either. Maybe
especially a full cavity. I mean, I'd be willing to take your knowledge on this. You've had a few cavities.
Yes, fluoride can help reverse early stage cavities. So keratin can protect an early stage cavity from forming more decay. Fluoride can reverse early stage cavities. I'm telling you, man, that fluoride is in small doses for your teeth is good for you. It is. It's not something we should just be throwing out because one guy said, the Nazis and fluoride. To me, I am known for taking the difficult stances on this show. And it would be so easy for me to just sit here and be disingenuous and lie to you and go, yeah, fuck fluoride. Let's take the fluoride out of toothpaste. Let's take it out of the water. Everything. I think fluoride.
Honestly, just knowing what you've dealt with your teeth, I'd be like, you're stupid. That's suicidal if that's what you're talking about.
That's true.
You're one of the people that needs it, kind of deal.
I've been using fluoride my whole life. I've still got shitty teeth and it made me retarded. So I've gotten the worst of both worlds.
You're so fucked.
Yeah, with maybe you're right. Maybe I need to be anti-fluoride.
No, I'm saying it's stupid of you to be anti-fluoride. Your teeth will be freaking chiclets. It'll be the white picket fence from the wrong side of town in a matter of days.
It'll be way worse. Yeah, maybe I need to be pro more fluoride.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to go the other way and be pro. But RFK Jr. is one of these guys who thinks that the fluoride's going to give you, I don't know if he thinks it gives you autism, but he does think that it gives you like brain rot or whatever. Fluoride strengthens teeth and reduces cavities by replacing minerals lost during normal wear and tear. According to the CDC, well, let's not use them. Let's use somebody else because...
Right, that's the worst part is the people that have to defend the anti-stance are the ones who are like, but you guys are shitbags.
Yeah. In 1962, the agency set guidelines for how much should be added to water. So we didn't start adding fluoride to water until 1962? Okay, maybe we shouldn't do that.
It's a relatively new practice.
Fluoride,
like in the grand scheme of things.
Fluoride tablets and lozenges are sometimes recommended for children and teens at increased risk of tooth decay or cavities because of low fluoride in their local drinking waters. Companies also sell drops for babies. Well, they see now all that sounds a little much. That sounds a little
excessive. Yeah, just a touch.
The FDA said fluoride products are no longer. I have an idea. You know what else might help make our kids' teeth better? Not pumping them full of so much sugar.
Right? Maybe kind of cut back on the sodas. I know we just had Halloween, which is literally the holiday of diabetes, but like I feel like we could probably do some healthier eating habits.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason that the dentists my kids have, they call, what they call cavities?
What?
Sugar bugs. I think that's pretty accurate.
Catchy. That's a very good term.
Sugar bugs.
I like that.
Which is also what a woman calls it when she fucks and dates a very wealthy cockroach. Sugar. Maybe we don't deserve to hit it today.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
That was a borderline Joe's Apartment reference.
Was that really me just basically saying it's now pity time? It's now pity dono time?
I mean, I don't know if it was so much saying it, but the message got delivered.
Yeah. That was on me. Dr. Silverwolf with $5 said started in 62. What has risen since 1962? I don't know. White supremacy? Is he going autism?
I'm going to guess.
He might be going autism.
This is one of those two. The autism debate, it's really easy to go look at how sharply autism has risen. But it is up because they also have vastly expanded what counts as autism. Like we started really opening that field to a lot of people, which accounts for a lot more of that autistic rise than I think people understand. Not to say that couldn't have caused it.
This text coming in, Aaron, the argument about fluoride in the water is medicating the public water. If you want or don't want fluoride should be up to you, not the water treatment plant. That argument I can get behind.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do
fluoride your water, bitch.
I do think it's weird that a city can just put an amount of fluoride in the water and that people just have to accept it. I don't think that kind of seems to take away the whole consent part.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But as far as the toothpaste, like you got to have some fluoride in your dental care.
But again, like that's the beautiful thing about our capitalist society. You should be able to go down to the store, buy your fluoride toothpaste, and hoop up while you're happy. But why do I got to put up with it in my water?
The products have been prescribed for children as young as 6 months. Why does 6 months old need to be fucking around with fluoride?
Doctor, I don't know what's wrong with my kid. They don't have any teeth. You better get him on that fluoride. Are we sure this isn't just because it's a newborn that those don't show up right away?
It rebuilds cavities. It's not Miracle Grow, motherfucker. We don't need to be giving 6-month-olds. Like, look, it's going to be hard to be the guy on this show already. Like when I go into chats and super chats and shit, it's going to be hard enough for me to be the pro fluoride guy. But don't make me the pro defending everything they're doing with fluoride guy, because it would be a lot easier for me to be either all the way anti-fluoride or all the way pro-fluoride. I'm in the worst spot. I'm in the shooting gallery. I'm in the crossfire because I'm pro-middle ground, where I'm think
like fluoride's a reasonable thing that we should have in our lives. And then, but like my 6-month-old, I need doctors are prescribing. Why? No.
Right. Or we're going to put it in your water without you knowing or caring about it. It's like I'd rather not do that too. So it's kind of this, I should go all the way one way or all the way the other way, but I can't. I don't know.
I just picture the 6-year-old that's been getting fluoride treatment since or not 6-year-old, the person that's been getting fluoride treatment since a 6-month-old. I think you have like the mouth of Baraka at that point. It's just a giant maw of sharp teeth.
Diamonds and Henna says Hawaii water doesn't have fluoride, but the U.S. military bases in Hawaii have fluoride in their water. Well, let's go around and look at some Hawaiian bitches, and if they've all got little chiclets for teeth, we'll know that we should be putting fluoride in there. Tony says not ingesting it, moron. Yeah, don't swallow the shit. Jesus. Get it on your teeth a little bit. Dr. Silverwolf with $5 says, I was going gun violence, but Johnny immediately going autism is telling. Oh, he's saying that the fluoride in the water has led
increase
to
in gun violence.
Yeah, You know what else has gone up, though, since 1962 is the freedom of black people to shoot people with guns. Sorry. I tried to say that with a straight face and earnestly, but I broke at the last second. I was wrong. That was wrong.
And to defend my autism thing, it's just a lot of people, like for fluoride and various other things, have pointed to it for autism. Like that, that's what a lot of people have been on. It's just my natural reaction.
No. They're putting the green lanterns in the chat again. They want me to light the lamp and do WPH. First of all, we haven't made enough money to do a WPH. It would have to be $35 in 5 minutes. No, that was a joke I was making about the shooting. It was cheap. It was not. Stop it. Baba Shab says, you're a very gifted boy. Too gifted. Drink up. Also, a lot of like enamel and shit is genetic.
Like with what goes on with your teeth?
Yeah. Like I got shit teeth from my daddy, and my son's got shit teeth from me. And it's just kind of, fluoride, no fluoride. Look, I'm just saying that going all the way one way or the other on fluoride is misguided. I think it can really help teeth. I think outside of that, we don't need to be fucking around with too much fluoride because in larger doses, it can cause brain damage.
So yeah, I would say because I'm someone who has the benefit of having really good teeth. So
good for you.
I don't. Yeah, dude, it's nice. I can be lazy and it doesn't matter.
Go off, King. Go off.
Hey, look at the trade-off, though. Like what are you going to do?
That's true.
Great, my teeth are awesome. I don't need to race to the bathroom to stand there and brush.
Ladies and gentlemen, fluoride causes MS. That's Red Fox Mad with $4.99. I need to update these standings a little bit here, boys and girls. Red Fox Mad is now tied with he's now ahead of Miss Tay, as Red Fox Mad is now at $30. Miss Tay is now in third at 25. Putting Main Vein in fourth at 20, and now at $14, Silver Wolf is in central booking, knocking Gray Duckling. Gray Duckling got processed. He's been released.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Silver Wolf is now at $14. Thank you very much, Silver Wolf, with $2. He says, I was literally typing what you just said. Oh, the gun violence thing. Well, that's disgusting. Red Fox Mad says chloramines are disinfectants formed by combining chlorine and ammonia in water. They've been used in the U.S. to treat drinking water since 1929. So we've been putting that shit in the water since the 20s.
Chloramines, but I don't think fluoride is a chloramine.
More like boramine. That doesn't work as well when I do it.
I get you.
1:35 away from today. Guys, we got 15 minutes until 9:30. We've had a little bit of a little rally here. Let's keep that going.
Use this. Let's keep it going.
Gifted memberships, Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, Rumble Rants. If we get that $35 in these next 15 minutes here, I'll light the lamp for you. Why the hell not? So as far as the fluoride in the water goes, look, my position on fluoride is this: great for your teeth. Not really useful for anything else. There. The fluoride change is the latest action by RFK Jr. Kennedy, a former environmental lawyer, has called fluoride a dangerous neurotoxin tied to a range of health dangers. During the 2024 election cycle, he said he would push to remove fluoride from drinking water if he was part of a new Trump administration. I am okay with that part.
What? That he promised to do it and he's doing it?
No. Well, yeah, that too. But I'm also okay with him getting rid of the fluoride in the drinking water. I'm kind of where you are, where if people want to use fluoride for their teeth, they should have the freedom to do so.
Right. It should be available and you should just do it and be good.
And also, if you're brushing your teeth with fluoride, you're going to be good. If you're not brushing your fucking teeth, having fluoride in your water is not going to matter.
It's not going to change a whole lot. No.
Yeah. If you're not brushing and you're not water picking or flossing, take it from me. Never really floss. I didn't start water picking until my teeth started rotting. And it's helped keep the wolves at bay. But, you got to
now you're already sliding down a hill and you're just fighting the tide.
Dude, I asked my dad when we went there for Halloween, I asked him, I said, have you ever like had to have a tooth pulled or like have your teeth been like in bad shape? He's like, I've had a root canal or two in my day, but I don't know if I've ever had one pulled. He said, I've wanted to have one pulled, but the dentist doesn't want to pull it because that's not very expensive. They want to fill it 15 times if they can.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm more of a just take the fucker out of my head and put a different one in there kind of a guy. Probably because of my little accident when I was a boy.
When you were younger, and you just had a fake one thrown in.
Dr. Silverwolf with $2 says, only time I'll ever be in central booking. Cool. Hey, you know what? I thought that at one time too, my friend. A question for you guys as we continue on here. We'll get to a couple of listener texts and then we'll go to our next thing. Why are Republicans now like the biggest fucking pussies on earth? Like, weren't conservatives being like the ones who said, oh, free speech, anything goes. We're allowed to be offensive. Remember Elon Musk's big thing? Like, I'll legalize comedy. Shut up, you fucking autistic weirdo. Legalize comedy. Ugh, so cringe. But like, that was their message. Anything goes. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. Now, I'm a sucker because I still believe that. Here's the problem with when you actually believe in things. When it's time to dig in and stand up for those things publicly, I mean, I've had some sort of a public-facing job for 20 years now. And I always get caught in this loop where we all say we believe in something. We're ride or die for that cause. It's a principle for ours, right? And you stick by your principles. And then when it's time to dig your feet in and use an example and say, hey, I'm for that, or hey, I'm against that, you find out that a shitload of people were just talking big and they didn't mean it, and you end up all alone. So, for example, Charlie Kirk gets murdered 2 months ago. Feels like 2 years ago, but he was murdered 2 months ago. And people who don't like Charlie Kirk were wearing Charlie Kirk costumes. And they were wearing the shirt he was wearing when he got shot, and they would have like red paint or red makeup coming out of their neck onto their shirt. And people are like, this should be banned. This is terrible. We should get them fired from their jobs. No, you fucking shouldn't. You are allowed to go as a dead guy for Halloween. You're allowed to go as an Indian. You're allowed to go as a Muslim. You're allowed to go as a fucking gypsy. You're allowed to go as whatever you want. That guy who dressed up outside that bar like a Nazi SS officer, he had every right to go. He had every right to have a good time. If the private bar wanted him to go somewhere else, they didn't want that in their bar, that's their freedom too. But this idea that we should all clutch our pearls and be a bunch of fucking women all of a sudden because, oh, Charlie liked God. Charlie was a conservative. So what? When Charlie was alive, he sanctioned a genocide for most of his life. He was okay with, he cheerleaded what Israel was doing in Gaza. We all do fucked up shit. It doesn't make us good people. It doesn't make us bad people. It should be an amalgamation of our decisions. So here's why I get pissed that I'm the only consistent guy left alive. Because I have to defend on my own guys like Kyle Kuklinski. I still refuse to learn how to say this fucking creep's name. By the way, Kyle Kuklinski is a liberal talk show host. He's Crystal Ball's husband. So Crystal Ball is Kyle Kuklinski's sugar daddy. And he has the worst political takes, worse than mine. You wouldn't believe it. He has the worst political takes. He drags everything on for way too long. Well, Aaron, sounds like you should love this guy. Shut the fuck. So this Kyle Kuklinski tweeted this. You know how people tweet the Spirit Halloween costumes? They make up the Spirit Halloween costume. They list what comes with it. I think it's funny. I like it. I've got a little boomer in me in that case. Well, Kyle Kuklinski made an Erica Kirk costume meme. And it was called Fake Grieving Widow Grifter Costume. Now, I'm sorry, if you ask me, and I lean more right than I do left. Yeah, right, Libto. I lean more right than I do left, and I respected Charlie Kirk. This is fucking hilarious. How many times have we said, she doesn't really seem like a grieving widow. There's something a little off about Erica Kirk. So you'll think that in your head. But if some lefty guy puts out a funny costume, now all of a sudden you go, oh, that's too far. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, and you're going to white knight for Erica Kirk. She's not going to blow you. She's taken by J.D. Vance. So this Kyle Kukalinski, this guy who uses Crystal Ball as an ATM and a beard, made this Erica Kirk costume. And to me, this is broken clock is right twice a day. I think it's funny. Anyone upset by this, I don't think you can spend the last 10 years of your social media facing life calling other people snowflakes and then sit here and shed tears over an Erica Kirk costume, which is shockingly accurate. Who wears leather pants while they're grieving?
Let's have this conversation. People are asking questions. I'm asking questions, but a lot of people are asking questions. And what are they asking?
Is it the Jews? Oh, were you not? You weren't asking that, were you? I'm sorry. God damn it. I get set up every time.
They're saying, why is she running her hands through J.D. Vance's hair? Why is she doing that?
Because she wants that sweet Peter Thiel sponsored sausage. That's why, my man.
It is a very, very intimate thing to do. And I'm not sure I've ever seen that happen with people who are not dating, who are not together.
Right. It's like, you watch Erica Kirk grab J.D. Vance's hair like that, you get a little hard. I mean, that's an aggressive move. You're like, my girl touches my hair that way. And if another girl touched my hair that way, she'd fucking kill us both.
Why does he have his hands on her hips? That's another thing I haven't seen unless you're fucking...
Now, in fairness, I heard that J.D. Vance only put his hand on Erica Kirk's hip because he thought she was going to also... put her hand on his hip and that she would dip and then he would dip and then they would dip. And that didn't happen. I'm the funniest fucking guy out there. There's nobody better. And it's because I'm proud of that.
Dating. Why is she wearing leather clubbing sexy pants at what's supposed to be just a run-of-the-mill event, and here she is around J.D. Vance?
Now I heard this. This was a rumor I got from a group chat with Candace Owens. The rumor is she wears the leather pants because JD likes what he calls tasteful toe. And when the leather pants are on, he gets a little bit of tasteful toe. JD Vance, from what I've heard in my group text with Candace Owens, it's called church toe. And that just sounds sweet.
Why did she say publicly that JD reminds her of Charlie?
He said their balls smell the same. It's not too soon, guys. It's fine. Come on out and play.
Why did JD say publicly that he wants his wife to convert to Christianity, throwing his fucking wife under the bus?
Because he doesn't want his wife to burn in hell as some kind of weird Hindu octopus god worshiper.
Throwing his wife directly under the bus. Why was her head also on Jesse Waters' chest? That's another thing that happened, which was very apparent and very clear, and everybody had to pretend like it wasn't bizarre as we were all witnessing it. Why did she rush in to fundraise off of Charlie Kirk's murder? That seems wildly inappropriate to me.
We can all hate Kyle Kukalinski. We can all think he's shit. We can think his ideas are stupid. We can think that, he's like little boy liberal podcaster with his big grown-up suit on. We can all think that. I have yet to hear a single thing that I disagree with Kyle Kukalinski on when it comes to Erica Kirk.
Wildly inappropriate in that moment. Why did she post?
I would like to see this guy's DMs and what fucking slag fans of his show he's writing to. You got to be careful of people like this. Guys like this who get a little too pontificating, they've got so many fucking cooter shots in their DMs, and that's just the ones he takes of himself. But guys like this are talking slutty. Guys like this, they've got female fans. You got to remember, a guy like Kyle Kukalinski never had pussy thrown at him once in his life. Now he's really, really popular in terms of like having an internet show. He doesn't have to have a goal every day. And like, you get Kyle Kukalinski, a few female fans, they write to him. A guy like Kyle Kukalinski, I look at him, I think he can say no twice. He can't say no a third time.
Creepy videos on social media of her holding her dead husband's hand with him laying in the casket, getting fucking social media clout off of his demise.
And that part I could argue that's something people do sometimes. Sometimes people do take the hand of their loved one after their death. I mean, I touched my grandparents' hands when they were in the casket. I wouldn't say I held them. They're very stiff. They're preserved, but I touched their hands, you know.
Are you kidding me?
If I can't look over a corpse at a wake for too long because my brain starts running 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I'm like, oh no, what if their eyes open? What if they're like the Undertaker? That creeped me the fuck out. And then it just starts to be inappropriate, and I just leave.
If I was fucking murdered, do you think Crystal would take a picture holding my dead hand as...
No, she'd start fucking Cigar, her co-host. She'd do the opposite of JD Vance. She would lose a white guy and fuck an Indian guy. That's what Crystal would do. She would call, it would be called calling a reverse, she'd pull a reverse Vance.
I'm in the carcass and fucking trying to make a social media clout moment off of it. Are you kidding me? That's fucking grotesque.
Hey, Kyle, there's only one way to put that to the test, buddy. Are you vaccinated?
We're not going to pretend like it's not. It absolutely positively is. Why were there fucking pyrotechnics at his funeral?
Oh, shut the fuck up,
before
dude.
she spoke like it was...
No, shut up. Pyro's awesome. We should all have pyro everywhere. I wish, if it wasn't for ventilation issues and not being able to keep the windows open in the wintertime in Minnesota, I would have pyro to start the show every day. Are you kidding? I'm against him on that. That's the first thing he said where I've been like, I'm out. Everyone at a funeral should get pyro. Imagine an intro music. You know, like grandma walks in during grandpa's funeral. I walk alone. And Batista's pyro is playing and your grandma gets down and does the fucking sumo akebono machine gun bit. That would be pretty awesome. I walk into my parents' funeral. Kennedy! I do the mic drop thing. And I hail from Shoreview, Minnesota. Come on. You're saying that a widow at a funeral coming out to Macho Man's theme music, streamers on their arms and everything, and sweet pyro wouldn't be an awesome way to do a funeral? Shut up, Kukulinski.
Some sort of WWE event. Like it was some sort of fucking celebration.
Cool. Cult of Personality hits. Your fucking uncle, already drunk from the morning's pre-funeral celebration, looks at his watch, pounds the ground, and goes, "It's clobbering time!" That would be awesome.
Why did she immediately come out and say, I'm going to take over Charlie's position at TPUSA? Don't you think that the overwhelming majority of people, especially if you're torn up psychologically and mentally, wouldn't you say, you know what, I'm going to step back from the spotlight. I'm going to have some time to mourn. I'm going to have some time to reflect.
Look, I don't know why this guy is defending the costume so hard. I'm on your side. I think a lot of people believe that Erica Kirk looks like a strange grieving widow. This is what happens when you read the comment section too much. I don't know. Maybe I got too much confidence in what I do for the internet. Maybe I'm not for this world. I don't know. But like so many of you read comments and you get sensitive and you get pussy. Like, who gives a shit what other people think? Do the thing you do. And if other people don't like it, make them fucking watch you. That's what I've done. There's a bunch of people out there who hate me. I'm a polarizing figure. Either for my political takes, my news takes, or because of shit they've made up that they think is true. It doesn't matter. If people hate your guts, let them cope, let them seethe, and you just have a good time. God damn, all of these people. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to defend this costume. Laugh with the costume. Enjoy the costume. It's not even a real fucking costume. God damn, man. Did you make the joke? Did you like the joke? All right, then make everybody else fucking choke on it in the comment section. And it's way more fun to set a fire and walk away, but that takes confidence. That takes self-assuredness. And I guess not all of us have that.
I'm going to have some time to rethink my life. I'm going to have some time to get my shit together since I just lost my fucking better half. No, she immediately jumped in and said, I'm going to take Charlie's position at TPUSA. Why are there videos that are all over?
Well, I mean, if you had your husband killed, wouldn't you need to get right back to work right away? I mean...
social media, and they are, you can't deny it, of her crying, but it's 100% proven there are no tears.
Oh,
She's got
come
the
on.
tissues,
Now
you're
we're
doing
just
the thing,
getting gay.
But then you zoom in, there's no tears. Why is that happening? You could yell at me for acknowledging reality, but I'm fucking acknowledging reality, and everybody knows it.
You have dyed blonde hair that doesn't match your beard. We don't get to talk about gay shit Kyle Kukulinski. So I don't understand why he's working so hard to defend this. I don't know why he's in the comments section giving a shit what people think anyway. It's a funny costume. Stop defending yourself. You're fine. If people don't like it, that's good. You should have a lot of people who hate your fucking guts. That means you're good at talking into this thing. God, people's desire to be eternally loved by strangers. I don't get it. Maybe that's why so much shit just rolls off my back, but I just find it pathetic that other people need to have a 100% approval rating. Fuck. Hit like, hit subscribe, throw me a few bucks. That's all I'm saying. I don't care why you do it. Red Fox Mad with 199 says that was AFSCME Council 5. Okay, thank you. Ace with 499 says how much to grow just a mustache. I'm not there. I'm not at that level of desperation yet. I'll let you know when I am. I'll probably be gone before I get to that level of desperation, my man. $2 from Joey Caravello says, have you ever seen that video of Keanu going to town on herself? I'll wait. I have not seen any such video. I do not know if one exists. I'll check my email in a couple of minutes. We also have $1 from, holy shit, the chat has been moving. Professor Tie-Dye with $1 says, Aaron, besides all the things against you, you have going against you, gay, fat, a stint in prison, it was jail, etc., you will never be as punchable as Kyle. Thank you. I'm not as punchable as Kyle Kukumunkalinski. One person, hostile soldiers pissed. He's like, why is nobody mentioning the pink tie? Because it's like the 9th thing gay of him. Trucker 18-wheeler with $1 says in China, they have strippers at funerals. Everybody grieves differently, my man. Hulkamasha Baby with $1 says you can't remember to hook up the phone and change the date on stream. You'd forget to reload the pyro by day 2. I'd argue with him, but when a guy's right. Zenman with $1 says dollar store David Arquette needs to calm his tits. People grieve in different ways. When St. Floyd died, burned the cities down. It looks like Erica wants to embrace the thing her husband built. The back of J.D. Vance's neck? Oh, you meant Turning Point USA. Okay. Sorry about that. Cleaner says the Kiki vid is real. She made 2. Oh. Well, I mean, God bless. What am I supposed to do with that information? It's not like I can play it. Didn't she have an OnlyFans for a while? It's not like she's ever hid that. Had an OnlyFans for a while. I mean, if you had an OnlyFans, chances are you got a video of you either going to town on yourself or going to town with somebody else. Makes sense to me. What are you guys, a bunch of fucking middle school virgins? Oh, she has boobies and a hoo-ha, and she showed it sometimes. Whoa. What are you guys? Are you a bunch of 12-year-olds with a fucking Playboy going behind the gas station? You fucking creeps. Yes, sometimes women play with their pussies. Should not be breaking news.